Welcome back to Proxy, everybody, and today I have Hayden Jones with us, and we are going to be going through all of the World Championships of Warhammer Aeldari lists together. How you doing today, Hayden?
I'm doing well.
Good, good. Last year, we kind of did the same thing. Now, Hayden Jones, if you guys don't know out there, is a world-class player. He's one of the best Aeldari players out there. He got invited last year to the World Championships of Warhammer, and he also got a golden ticket this year as well. And he's going to be playing Guardian Battle Host, which is pretty awesome, dude. Are you stoked to go to the World Championships?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited. And this year, since last year, I've gotten to know a lot of the other Eldar players that are on this list and a lot of great Eldar players. So I'm really excited to meet them, build the Eldar community, some solidarity with the get those Monkai out of here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Death to the Monkai, as always. Yes, absolutely, dude. Yeah, I'm really excited to see a lot of Eldari representation this year. We got that new codex, which is really fun. Battle Focus is a super fun mechanic. Eldar finally feel more like Eldar to play, unlike, some of the other iterations of Eldar that we've had in the past. So this is really awesome. And we have a good spread of Eldar players throughout the world joining in with the, kind of World Championships of Warhammer here. So I thought we'd start off by just kind of quickly going through all the lists. Now, word to the wise here, a lot of the lists in the lineup are going to be very similar, being aspect host and war host lists, but there are some key differences between them, which will affect how that particular player plays the list on the battlefield and what kind of matchups are going to be good or bad for that specific list. We'll go through those now. It is going to be on GW terrain layouts, which keep in mind are a little bit more open, right? A little bit more line of sight lanes. I usually play on GW terrain layouts myself, so I don't really play on WTC or UKTC on anything but Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are some significant differences you're going to notice in these guys' lists, and that's simply due to the fact that it is a more open table with more line of sight lanes.
Yeah, you're not gonna see like the Hawk spam lists that were popular just because like the tables are a bit more open.
Right.
Not as easy to deploy compared to WTC, which is a lot more dense.
Yeah, absolutely. So realistically, you throw your Hawks up there to, kind of throw a grenade and screen, they're not going to survive. They're just not, right? You're not going to get a second opportunity to do, mortal bombs with them or anything like that. Also, Hawks did get nerfed, so I mean, we may still see Hawks. I run a lot of Hawks in my
I
list. I think
think
they're good, but
most lists have 2 to 3 squads of them. Same deal with warp spiders. Same deal with rangers. So
yeah, yeah, all Eldari staples for move blocking, screening, and doing a little bit of damage. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right in. The first list we have here is Adolfo Villarreal from Mexico. So, Group 14, checking out his list. And his list name is Please Don't Tell My Mom I Play Eldari. Don't worry, I will, and you should be proud of it, my friend. Anyway, he's playing Warhost. And pretty, kind of common characters here. We have Fuegan, Janzar, and Lycus. Those seem to be the, most popular Phoenix Lords. Obviously, you have Fuegan who can, revive himself, gives +6 range to the Fire Dragon squad, which is critical, I think, in GW matchups on GW terrain layouts, specifically because of what I was talking about before. You have fewer staging areas in which you can actually stage up and be safe for the entire game. So giving that +6 inches is really just absolutely mandatory for that to work.
yeah, you'll see like a ton of people running the Fugan 10 fire dragons and a wave serpent. I mean,
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's very rare to not see it. Like you're going to see it far more often than you don't see it.
but this guy has 3 warwalkers.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if we go down the list a little bit, 3 squads of Dark Reapers, which again is common on GW layouts. I run it, it's very effective. Has the Howling Banshees, has the Rangers, has a couple squads of Scorpions, Swooping Hawks, all the regular stuff. 3 Warwalkers, though, which is a little bit interesting. So I actually don't think this is a bad tech into GW terrain. Warwalkers, they don't benefit from any of the, kind of detachment bonuses or stratagems of Warhost. I mean, a little bit, right? But not to the degree they would in like a Guardian Battle Host, for example. But I think just having the extra Bright Lances to be able to pop something at range is kind of nice.
Yeah,
Um,
so I was looking at this list and I assume that it's mainly going to be for these like it's benefiting I guess the warp spiders and the uh these fire or not the fire dragons, the dark reapers the most, I guess.
yeah,
The dark reapers don't necessarily need it, but I guess if you're like dealing with somebody using like AOC or something, then it'd be
right.
useful. And
Yeah,
also just the extra he only has 1 squad of fire dragons, so the extra, anti-tank would be good. A lot of people that run warwalkers are, like, maybe running like, a scatter laser in a Bright Lance, but this guy's just going all in. I mean, he's gonna get that buff with 3 of them. There's no way you can miss 6 Bright Lances, right?
right.
Probably.
Right. Probably not. Even with a popping smoke, 6 Bright Lances, you're getting at least one hit in there. Warwalkers with these long kind of line of sight lanes, you're very easily able to get line of sight on a lot of things. And something people I think kind of overlook is we were talking earlier about the Dark Reaper combo, right? But also Swooping Hawks, right? Because Swooping Hawks do really good damage against light infantry. However, they don't have any AP. So when it comes to, dealing damage to lighter infantry and trying to like destroy horde type units, having an extra AP oftentimes can mean a lot of difference. Can make a lot of
Also with
difference.
the, lethal hits, if you're trying to shoot into space range or something, that's always useful. I mean,
Absolutely.
just a lot of use coming out of these warwalkers. But also they can function because they got the scout there. I mean, he doesn't need 3 of them all the time, so he can just use them to do actions, to take objectives, It's just a MSU list, but, the Warwalkers are a bit tougher,
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Warwalkers, honestly, pretty good inclusion in this list. I'm not,
yeah, I like to see it. Not a whole lot of Warwalkers in, these lists, so
yeah, absolutely not. So yeah, very good list by Adolfo. Very excited to see it and see how it does. And don't worry, your mom will know that you play Eldari, so you might as well just
we're calling
get
her. We're
used to
telling
it.
her right now.
Yeah. She's on my speed dial, man. All right. Next up, we have Austin Howald from the US, United States. Advanced Warfare 40K is his team. So let's take a look at his list. So we have an aspect host list here. First time I've seen a Zerman in a while.
There
I
are a few people running a sermon this time around,
Yeah,
so
and that's interesting. He did get a points drop. I have used him in Seer Council. I've used him in Aspect Host or Warhost before. He is a good character. I think he was just too expensive before. But really, I think this is a pick for maybe a heavier infantry meta where you have to get rid of a big squad of, Terminator equivalents, whether it be Sword Brethren or, Sanguinary Guard or whatever it is, that have a invul save that you have to get past, just not wanting to risk your opponent rolling a bunch of 4-up saves.
it's worth mentioning that, for factions, the most popular, like, faction taken is Space Marines, and I think the 3rd most popular faction is World Eaters. The
Mm-hmm.
2nd is Eldar. But,
Right.
so a lot of your and then you gotta include the other, like, 4 Chaos Space Marine factions, so, yeah, I mean,
Right.
obviously, there's gonna be a shit ton of Space Marines, a shit ton of heavy infantry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the meta is kind of a rush down infantry meta right now. So he's certainly going to be useful in that. There are also some horde aspects of the meta right now coming out with like recon and shit like that. So
Right.
AdMech is going to be particularly AdMech after the last update got quite good. I'm not even sure. I haven't gotten enough reps into that yet, so I'm not even sure what I'm going to do. But those are some of the big bads for this. this tournament.
Right. Yeah, AdMech's tough. The one thing you do have to look out for on GW terrain layouts against AdMech specifically is I think they're called Rust Stalkers or
Yeah, the Rust Stalkers,
yeah, the
yep.
Rust
And
Stalkers are
Halo
very
Screed,
aggressive.
they're
Yeah.
quite scary in melee.
Yeah, very very strong unit. Very fast and they're deceptively fast. It's honestly
Oh, yeah, they're
very
super
scary.
fast.
Yeah.
And they,
So,
like, will kill everything,
yep.
at least
And
infantry.
oh, big time. And 2 wounds apiece too. So, don't think you could just kill them with swooping hawks. Like you need something a little bit more serious against them. So Azurman definitely a hard hitter. Damage 2 on his regular profile, and then of course on his feat turn he gets damage 3, anti-infantry 5, and dev wounds, which is great. Remember, he's also running an aspect host, so he does have the ability to just pop sustained hits whenever he wants, even at 24 inches. So potentially this guy could hit something at 24 with sustained hits, dev wounds, flip with a token, and on average do probably about 6 devastating wounds to anything in the game, which is pretty good.
Indeed.
Fuegan, Janezar, Lycus, common picks here. Wave Serpent, 5 Dire Avengers going with Zerman in a Falcon, so you get those rerolls to wound. Fire Dragons, Banshees, 2 squads of them. We got 3 squads of Rangers here, which is interesting. A lot of Rangers. Probably again for screening purposes. Melee Rush is huge, like you
Yep.
said before. We got a single unit of Scorpions, which I've noticed actually a couple people are taking, and
Yeah, they're certainly less popular now because I mean they've gone up in points, but there are definitely still some people taking them. They're decent melee units, especially in aspect hosts. So
right, you're getting those reroll ones on top of 5 plus critical sustained, so that is pretty awesome. And they're not bad at taking out other scouting units. I think Rangers are a unit that will never kill anything. Like, I'm
yeah,
excited
I
when my
mean
Rangers
maybe a
kill
little
something.
damage to a character.
Right.
Like if you're playing against like Imperial Guard or AdMech and they have a character, then maybe you can kill one of those characters. But like really,
Right.
they're not for that. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, potentially. I mean, in my casual 40K escapades at my local game shop, I'm sometimes able to kill something. But usually, if your opponent knows they have precision, they just hide their character and you can't do anything about it.
yeah,
Couple units of swooping hawks here. Hawk's talons on these. So going for more of that marine killer kind of vibe here. And then we have 3 squads of warp spiders, which is, again, it's common to have the 3 squads of warp spiders, one with a power blade array that's going to be, of course, with Lycus. So this is looking like pretty standard aspect host list. The only real difference here is a Zerman and just the mega amount of Rangers here. But again, Rangers are going to be more effective.
no Dark Reapers in this list though.
No
Dark
Dark
Reapers are
Reapers.
pretty popular. You know, Tempest launchers quite useful in the meta.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, realistically, I think this list might struggle a little bit into hordes because it just doesn't seem to have as much horde potential, right? Especially into things that have cover. Recon
I mean, he
element.
does have triple Swooping Hawk, triple Warp Spiders, but yeah, I guess, dude, Recon Element just like even the yeah, I have a lot of shots, but sorry, like Recon Element, like all my Imperial Guard have 2 up saves. That's like okay, cool, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah.
be tough.
It's tough. It's tough to chew through the squads. And of course, the thing with recon element is realistically, you can only get one squad safely there because the other squad that comes there is going to get overwatched and killed. So
Hmm.
that's the problem. So yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup, I think, for this list, but time will tell. I still think it's a pretty awesome list. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We got Ben Jones from Vanguard Tactics. And of course, he's coming from England. And we are going to take a look. So he has Aspect Host, Azurman, right? We've seen Azurman, and the 3 main Phoenix Lords, Fuegan, Jin, Lycus. Wave Serpent, 5 Dire Avengers, Falcon. It's deja vu here, man.
This is almost the same list. The only difference is that he has 2 squads of or no, the only difference is he has 1 squad he has 1 more Howling Banshee squad and, like, 1 less Ranger squad. I
Yeah,
think that's the only difference in this
he
list.
has a single Warlock Skyrunner, and he has 2 Rangers instead of 3, and he has different weapons on the Hawks. Exarch's Last Blaster versus Hawk's Talon. And
Yeah.
that's basically the same thing. It's going to operate almost exactly the same way, just slightly different. But yeah, that's about it. It's exactly the same list almost. So
Yeah, you'll see this a lot in when we go through these lists, is that a lot of lists are very similar.
yeah, absolutely. Next up, we have Chris Martins from the United States. Let's take a look at them. Aspect Aggression and Cowardly Boats. Let's go. The Eldar way. And once again, we have the same, except this time we have Malgan Ra, but we have most of the other Phoenix Lords represented here. Malgan Ra is really good. Here we have a Wave Serpent. We have only one squad of Reapers, but it's going to be in that Falcon. This is basically what Folger Piles took in
Yeah, this is
LVO,
the
I
Folger
believe.
Piles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is very
is
similar.
the Malgan Raw, and you'll see a lot of lists, Warhost and Aspect Host, that are taking the Malgan Raw, 5 Reapers and a Falcon.
Yep,
I mean, it's just good, man. I don't know how people, like, didn't realize it until Folger was taking it. It's cheap, does a lot of damage,
yep,
and it's also almost similar to a Sermon where you get, like, guaranteed dev wounds, so if you take both a Sermon and Malgan Raw, and honestly, I think Malgan Raw needs the Falcon more than a Sermon does. Actually, he has 2 Falcons here, though, so
yep,
he's putting them both in
yep.
there.
Double
Um,
Falcon and Wave Serpent. So he's running
yes.
3 holes, which might be a little hard to hide on GW train layouts, honestly.
Yeah, it's a little tough, but he's gonna
Yeah,
be doing maximum damage whenever he brings them out, so
big time. And you could always, the thing is you can always throw one. These have deep strike, so you could always throw one in reserve, right? Which I
mhm.
think is what a lot of players are going to end up doing. Throwing, I like to call him Ass Man. So throwing Ass Man's fucking, Falcon in reserve and just having him come in deep strike when he can be a rapid ingress or whatever. But very similar list.
Interestingly, I was gonna say that he really doesn't have anything other than those 3 units, though, of, the Fire Dragon,
Right.
Falcon, the Falcons, everything that's in the boats is, like, basically his main army, and then he's just got scoring units.
Right. Absolutely. So, I mean, he's going to really need to pick his battles very well and very carefully, because if he can't do that and he's unable to stop rush armies from coming in, there's just nothing he could do. He is an aspect host. There's no fallback and shoot and charge like in Warhost. So that's going to be a little tough. So he's going to have to manage his CP as well, very, very effectively, because no Eldred, right? So no free
Yeah.
CP every turn.
No, I mean, this is really good, but then the problem is that since he has so much of his army in, like, these 3 units, if he messes up, then he'll just lose. But if he doesn't mess up, then he's gonna be doing huge damage and killing whatever he shoots at, so
Yeah.
I mean, that's the Eldar way, right? This is a really a glass cannon list.
Yep. Absolutely.
No
Absolutely.
room,
Falcons
not
are
a
just
huge room to mess up, but a lot of damage.
big time. Absolutely. Okay, let's look at the next list here. We got
Was Christopher
Christopher
Kirk?
Kirk.
Although I think you skipped
Kruk.
over Bryce Bennett, by the way.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
I don't see him on my screen.
Before crit. Oh, really?
He might
Huh.
be further
Okay.
down. He might be further down.
Okay, yeah. Well, we can do Chris Kirk.
Yeah, we'll look at that
Kruk,
later.
Kruk.
Let's see.
This guy is
Kruk.
in my
Yeah.
pod.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, he's the only one in your pod, right? The only other Eldar player.
I think it's kind of hard. They don't actually in BCP. You can't check the groups, right? They're all group 0,
Mm-hmm.
but like they send them out in the email. So like, what I have to do is look at the names and then go and check every single time. It's not that easy to do, but I think Christopher Crook is the only Eldar player in my pod. So
Interesting. Yeah. So, kind of similar lineup of characters, except we do have Eldrad specifically in this list. So that.
Autark as well, but the Shimmerstone.
Oh yeah. Now, interestingly enough, I think the Autark with Shimmerstone works well in this list for one reason and one reason alone, and that is because he's taking a big fat squad of Banshees. So he has the Autark in this list. We have Corsair Void Reavers, just one unit of them, it looks like. 2 squads of Dark Reapers, 1 squad of big Fire Dragons, again, gonna be in that Wave Serpent. 10 Howling Banshees, man. Big squad of 10 Howling Banshees, and then a small squad. I'm assuming the 10 is going to be with the Autark, and the small
Uh,
one is going to be with Jane Czar,
yeah,
but
Janes are. Yeah, it makes sense.
just because
Either or, honestly.
I feel like, yeah, it could be either or. I just feel like maybe the squad of 10 is like more
The
of a,
Shimmerstone's probably better for the squad of 10. I agree.
yeah, yeah. One squad of Rangers, so a little low on the infiltrators here because it doesn't look like there's any striking scorpions. But we do have 2 warp spiders, 3 shining spears, 2 warlock skyrunners for actions, and then 2 wave serpents here. And again, it's going to carry most likely the fire dragons, maybe the howling banshees as well. So that is
Yeah,
interesting.
so the Shimmer Stone's nice because you got the, like, when they're gonna be in melee, I assume he's using this because the Shimmer Stone's the -1 to wound, right?
Right.
In Yeah. So he's gonna use them, to, kinda heroically intervene against all these melee rushdown armies, or just, like, because I think he's probably thinking of, like, the 20 Berserker brick and stuff like that, or,
Hmm.
like, some of these, like, Emperor's Children bricks. Like, Howling Banshees, honestly, they're really good against Space Marines, but even then, I don't think they necessarily kill a whole squad of those guys, like a 20-man Berserker squad. I mean, that's disgusting. So, I don't
Yeah.
even think they would, but what he's trying to do, I assume, is you get to heroically intervene, you fight back, you kill half of them, and then maybe through the -1 to wound and the 5 or, the 4 up involved, they don't all die, which
Right.
is makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely makes it a little scarier to charge if you have a unit, because, like, normally you'd be like, "Oh, I can survive with, like, a few guys, and then they're Eldar, so I'm just gonna pick them up." But not so much with the -1 to wound there.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Because, I mean, Corn Berserkers typically wound Eldar on 3s, because strength
Yeah.
5. So wounding on 4s versus wounding on 3s with a bunch of like serious close combat attacks is a major thing. So yeah, interesting tech. I don't mind the squad of 10 banshees. I think it's good. I think actually 10 banshees is pretty good. He's running them, it seems like, in a wave serpent too, so he could easily, do that heroic intervention thing, then pull them back in the wave serpent and like use the wave serpent's hull to project the banshee unit out onto something else later. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, that's another possible, kind of big play that he can do here. Yeah, so really cool list, honestly. And yeah, again, we see the
He's got the
dark.
Shining Spears as well, which is, there are a few people running Shining Spears, which I'm gonna be honest, I was a little surprised just because, like, I think the general consensus is that they seem good on paper, but they don't really hit that hard when you're actually playing them.
Right.
But I mean, they definitely have their uses. I mean, they move really fast through walls.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about, since they don't have many attacks, they are certainly usable in aspect hosts though because of those rerolls.
Hmm.
Um, Kind of make up for some of their shortcomings.
Yeah. And then you do have the warriors focus and stratagem as well, where they could just ignore
Mhm.
modifiers and stuff, which make them, honestly, in my opinion, make them like workable in aspect host. My list has a squad. For some reason, they just kind of never do anything for me. But I mean, it's like in
I
theory
have the
they
same
should be
experience.
good. So
Yeah.
it's like I'll just keep trying them. But
Look,
yeah,
at the very least, they'll put some damage on some big target, but I really wouldn't expect them to kill anything.
right. They usually
And
don't.
they are a little scared. Like, if you're a non-Eldar player and you don't know that they kind of are a little disappointing, they seem scary on paper when you explain to your opponent what they do. So your opponent, I mean, they do move 14 inches, and then you could move them 16, right?
Yeah,
Like, they're quite fast. So your opponent will still be wary of them. I don't want to move my, like, light, like a dreadnought or like light tank,
yeah,
because maybe it'll die. Probably won't, but maybe it will. So I mean, you can't, like, these people. Nobody wants to take a chance like that. So
yeah, exactly. They do put 6 OC on an objective after you're done killing a transport, because that's, I think, what they're really good at is actually killing things like rhinos.
yeah,
Weirdly enough,
light tanks.
yeah, exactly. Something that your opponent is going to just place, like a dreadnought or something, that they're going to be like, oh, okay, I'll secure my expansion with this dreadnought. Like, oh, okay, Shining Spears, right? Like you have an answer to that kind of like easy maneuver, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, they're not bad, you know. I like them. I think they're just like a little bit. I still think they're too many points. I
Yeah, I
think,
think if they're less expensive, they'd be fine for what they do. I
yeah,
think.
I think at 100 points are probably better for
Mhm.
their cost. Okay, moving on to, and I hope I say this right, Dadu Polo from Andorra.
Endora.
Interesting. Let's take a look. Aspect Host, okay. We have an Autarch, Fuegan, Lycus, and Malgan Raw. For the first time, no Jane Czar. So it
No
looks
James
like
R. Yeah.
he replaced Jane Czar with the Autarch, it seems like. So he wants free heroic intervention on turn 1, potentially. Battle line, just 5 Corsair Void Reavers. Very common pick there. They're a really good unit. Wave Serpent, big squad of 10 Reapers. He's got Big Daddy Reapers with Malgan Raw. 5 Baby Reapers. Falcon. So I'm guessing 10 big Reapers, or maybe with...
Maybe the Udark?
Interesting.
No, not the Udark. I think they're just alone.
Yeah, probably solo.
Something that I used to do a lot, which I think is actually pretty good on GW maps because they
Mm-hmm.
tend to have a lot of like, side lanes. And this
Mm-hmm.
is what I did when I played Ynnari is I just put them in reserves and then bring them on the field and they like have line of sight of something in the mid board and then I just shoot them. And when
Right.
you're playing Aspect Host, you can use the stratagem on them, get rid of their aspect token, and then they get the sustained or lethals.
Yeah, big time. And that's going to
That's
be
probably what he's
big.
doing.
Yeah, to like eliminate like a big target in the middle. Dark Reapers are
Mhm.
really good at killing anything with 3 wounds, Blade Guard, Sword Brethren, Sanguinary Guard, anything that just doesn't have good access to, feel no pain or anything like that. They can really just absolutely devastate.
Yeah.
We got the classic 10 Dragons, 5 Banshees, probably with the Autarch, 2 Rangers, Scorpion Squad, 2 Hawks, and 3 Spiders. So that's pretty much, I think we're going to see that with most lists just because Eldar need to focus on their mobility. They need to focus on their speed to actually win games. That's what they're best at doing. So you're going to see that in pretty much every list is a bunch of Warp Spiders, a couple squads of Hawks, fast moving stuff. Interesting. Okay, moving on to the next list here. And again, sorry for going through these so quick. It's just so many of them are so similar. We have Damon Jenkins, sorry, from the US. Let's
This
take a look.
list this list is very cool, by the way. First non-aspect warhost list we're looking at, Ghost of
Oh,
the Webway.
this is
Only Ghost of
cool.
the Webway.
This is awesome. This is awesome. So you do have Eldrad. Weirdly enough, though, Eldrad does kind of fit into the Harlequin theme because he was in that, what was it, the Black Mask box set.
Yeah, he's related to them,
Yeah.
through lore and stuff.
Yep.
Dude, I actually have to like pull up my Warhammer app so I don't really know what these guys do, to be honest with you. I haven't looked at them too much.
Interesting. Yeah. Solitaire, really good. Solitaire's alone up. He has a blitz move once per game. He adds 2d6 to his move characteristic. He has advance in charge. He has precision on his weapons. On his blitz turn, he gets 12 attacks instead of 9. So think about him like a Lilith, except his weapons are strength 6, AB minus 2, damage 2. Really good, really good
And you
character.
actually see the solitaire in some other lists here. There are like 2 or 3 other people that are taking them in aspect warhost.
Yep.
They're a decent unit. They're a pretty decent unit. They're good at like precisioning out. Especially I find Space Marine characters, man. Like if there's a unit that has like a lieutenant and a captain, I mean it'll probably just kill both of them. So
It could very well kill both. Yeah, especially on a blitz turn. You can absolutely do
yeah.
that. The cool thing about the solitaire too, which is I think, a lot of people think that just Howling Banshees are straight up better choice for heroic intervention, but not always, especially in a meta that we're just kind of seeing now. We're seeing a lot of indirect fire, guys. Seeing a lot of, and we'll see more of it too as we go down the list. But people are bringing indirect fire for Aeldari. Aeldari is a common army that people have to fight against. The Solitaire's the lone op, right?
Yeah.
So you can't just shoot at them, which is
Also,
big.
of course, in you need to take the solitaire and Ghost of the Webway because you
Yeah,
can revive him. So I mean
absolutely,
it's
man.
it's it's an obvious choice.
He's so fucking annoying. Yeah, he's really good, man. Troop Master with Segarax Coil. Actually, we have triple Troop Masters here. One with a Mask of Secrets. I believe that gives his unit Infiltrate.
No, Mask of Secrets is the makes your unit take desperate escape tests, and if they're battle shocked at
Oh,
-1, so it'll
right.
stop people from running away, like no fallback and stuff.
Oh, perfect. Okay. The one I'm thinking about is what? Webway All? No.
Mistweave? Yeah,
Mistweave.
Mistweave.
Okay.
That's on the Shadow Seer, but he doesn't have a Shadow Seer here,
That's right.
which I
That's right.
actually find surprising. Does he have any infiltrators? No? No infiltrators.
No, no
I don't
Infiltrate.
know how I feel about that, but,
I mean, he might have
you know,
Rangers, but we'll find out.
no, he doesn't have
No,
Rangers.
no Rangers. Geez, okay. Bunch of troops, of course, because you need that. You have a big squad of troops as well. Big 10-man or 12-man squad, it looks like. And then we have a bunch of Star Weavers. We actually have 5 of them here in this list. 3 squads of Sky Weavers, 2 big squads of 4, and 1 small squad of 2.
I mean, you need that when you're playing Harlequins. He has
Absolutely.
none of the shooty boats,
Hmm.
the which I mean, they're okay. I don't really know how I feel about them. Some of my friends that play Harlequins always complain about them. But yeah, you need like haywire cannons. The only other anti-tank he's getting in here other than these fusion pistols is that Chegarax coil. That Chegarax coil does a lot of mortal wounds, especially when you combine it with like grenades the round before, a lot
Right,
of mortal wounds.
right.
So
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this list can kill a tank. It's just the matter, and can kill a monster. It's just a matter of, getting in range to do so, which little
yeah,
bit
absolutely.
trickier on GW boards, right? Like it's a little bit trickier to get that range on such open boards. But I really do like this list. Actually, my own list of Ghosts of the Webway is very similar to this. I just have 3 squads of 4 Skyweavers instead of 2 squads of 4 and 1 squad of 2. And I think the only other difference is I don't take the Mask of Secrets. So pretty much everything's almost the same. Oh,
Yeah,
and
I'm not sure how well the Mask of Secrets performs, but I mean, I'm assuming he's taking it with like a 5-man squad, and then you just run into something that is like, a good shooting unit, and then boom, keep it in combat because if it runs away, it might die.
interesting. I was almost thinking a squad of 10 and then just tag everything you can.
Oh, tag a bunch of things. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I agree. That
But
that could work too.
that could depend on the matchup too cuz I mean you could obviously
Yeah.
switch the characters around. Really
Hmm.
cool. Really cool list. I'm so happy. Thank you Damon for bringing Ghosts to the Webway. Seriously. That's awesome. Okay, let's look at the next list here. We have Dan Morris from Canada.
Baharoth. First time we see Baharoth in this
Baharoth.
list,
Yep. Big
and a
bird.
solitaire. It is all characters. Wow.
Yeah.
She's got
Tons of
5
characters.
epic characters. So it's like 600 points of characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it does make sense. Again, the solitaire, being a lone op does help against indirect fire, even outside of Ghost of the Webway. We have 2 squads of Corsair Void Reavers. Very common. I have a couple in my list as well. We have the Wave
Great
Serpent.
units.
Yeah, they're amazing for the cost. Dire Avengers with I'm guessing Ass Man, but maybe not because
Yeah, Assman's in.
Ass
No,
Man.
it's with
Okay,
Assman.
Ass
Yeah.
Man's here. The Ass is in. We got Fire Dragons, big squad of 10. We got a squad of Howling Banshees, of course. 2 squads of Rangers, 3 squads of Swoops, 3 squads of Warp Spiders. So again, Warp Spiders and Swooping Hawks is dominating all of these aspect hosts and war host
This is just
lists.
the Avengers list.
Yeah,
You got
absolutely.
700 points of fucking epic characters, and then they're attached. You got some, and then you just got literally all like scoring units. So
Yeah.
scoring units, and then Eldar epic characters.
Yep, just to
Fun list,
kill what you
certainly.
need to kill. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome list, very effective, proven to be effective over the course of the last couple months. Next up, we have Fernando Shadowblade from Spain. Let's see here. Another aspect host list, Souls for Slanesh. Okay. So maybe not really an Eldar player here, maybe just trying to create more death for Slanesh to feast on here. But we have Assman, Fuegan, Janezar, Lycus, common picks that we've seen so far. We got the Wave Serpent, Dire Avengers, of course, Falcon. Very
3
standard.
squads of Howling Banshees, though.
Oh,
That's the
interesting.
difference.
3
Yeah,
Howling Banshees.
respect
Interesting.
it.
Yeah, I love Howling Banshees, man. I wish I could get my hands on more of them. Seriously, they're so rare. They're so absolutely rare. They're like hidden gems to find them on eBay. 3 squads of Rangers, very common. We've seen a couple armies now with the triple Ranger build. Interesting. I almost think that's overkill in the amount of Rangers. Maybe I'm wrong though. I mean, there are a
I
lot of
think
rush
it's
armies.
because they're really cheap, right? And it's
Yeah,
like you're choosing 2 squads of Rangers over like 1 squad of Warp Spiders. I mean, this guy has 3, but I think he's really just trying to make up for the fact that he doesn't, because he only has 1 Swooping Hawk here. He has like a Warlock Skyrunner, so he's really just trying to get a lot of units on the board
right.
for this, which makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't blame him.
absolutely. Swooping Hawk is one unit of those is always great minimum just because you can
Deep
rapid
Strike, yeah.
ingress. Yeah, deep strike, rapid
Rapid
ingress
Ingress
and stuff.
for a lot of things, yeah.
Yep. Shining Spears, again, in here. Really interesting unit, kind of, controversial, but I like
Adding a
him.
little bit of extra damage to this because he doesn't have a whole lot of anti-tank other than these fire dragons
Yeah,
in his so, yeah.
yep, absolutely. We have a Warlock Skyrunner, just a single one, little solo dude. We have 3 Warp Spiders, and that's going to end the list for this build.
Yeah.
So, pretty good.
I'm slightly worried about the amount of anti-tank in this list, but,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. Yeah, he
Well, he
has a
does
falcon,
have,
so I guess
yeah,
you can put a sermon in there and, put some damage into a tank that way.
yeah. I think that's the thing, right? Like if a Zerman needs to finish something off, he can, and he can do it safely without CP usage. So, yep, that's pretty good. Looks like an awesome list. Let's see what's next.
Sweet. Next is Folger.
Folger. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. We're rooting for him.
Let's see what he does. Let's see
It's
what he has
nice to
here.
see the best player in the world run Eldar.
The cool car Civil War. Okay. I don't know what that means, but probably, lots of boats, I'm guessing. Lots of wave serpents. Who knows? Okay, so characters Eldrad. And by the way, he is playing War Host, just to be clear, this is an aspect host list. So Eldrad for the extra CP, Fuegan, Janezar, Lycus, Malgan Ra. This is very similar to what he ran in LVO, I believe.
I think it might be the same list,
Might
but
be
I
the
don't
same
remember.
exact list. Let's check it out. Corsair Void Reavers, 2 squads. He had 2 Corsairs, I think, or maybe 3 in LVO. Wave Serpent, Dark Reapers, Falcon. I think this is the exact same list. Howling Banshees, 2 squads of Rangers. I think he did have 2 squads of Rangers as well, or maybe just 1 squad. Swooping Hawks, Swooping Hawks, Swooping Hawks, Warp Spiders, Warp Spiders, Warp Spiders. If this isn't exactly the same, it's very close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like an amazing player, and this list, I mean, we've seen like 10 lists that have very similar builds. Obviously, he's got the damage coming out from all of these characters. Eldrad is naked, which usually works as long as you don't run into people that are running indirect. And then yeah, I mean it's a good list.
Yeah.
Obviously takes a decent amount of skill because he's got like a bajillion scoring units. And so you really have to make sure you get the damage out with the damage that you have, which is in this case Mugen Ra and the Fire Dragons.
Right.
Um, but I mean, yeah, he can definitely do it. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Zerman, or not a Zerman, Eldrad, little bit, yeah, like vulnerable, like you said. I think because you will see people using indirect fire more just because
yeah,
people are
that's the
building up
big
against
problem with
Eldar.
taking a naked Eldrad. Also, it's worth mentioning that since he has the +1 to wound, when sometimes it looks a little sparse in like anti-tank, if you throw the +1 to wound, like suddenly your Dark Reapers are doing a lot better. Hell, even the Warp Spiders are doing a lot better into tanks
Absolutely. Especially with
with
Twin
that.
Linked. A couple of these squads have the Death Weavers, right? And Spinneret
Hmm.
Rifle. Death Weavers are twin linked. They usually wound vehicles on 6s, but now it's 5s with full rerolls. Those can add up. Those can add up.
Yeah, a little bit of extra damage if you leave something on 2 wounds or something. Definitely useful.
100%. Also, really good with the Dark Reaper squad, like you said. Just being able to come out +1 to wound with rerolls, very powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. That's a list that everybody has covered multiple times. Folger Piles, one of the best players in the world. Francis Fernandez from the Philippines. Let's see what Francis has to offer. Aspect Host. So we got a Zerman. We got the 5 Phoenix Lords that are worth, except Baja's out of it, but he's probably the worst of the bunch, I would say, at this
Yeah,
point.
I'd say too.
Unfortunate because he was so good during the index days and stuff, but yeah, just not as good
Yeah, he just
nowadays.
has the least amount of uses.
Big
And
time. Big time.
you know,
It's sad, man. Birdman will rise again, though. Harvey Birdman. Um, we got 2 Wave Serpents here. So, classic thing to do in Aspect Host with big squads of stuff. So we got 2 squads of 5 Dark Reapers here. Assman, Dire Avenger combo, big squad of Fire Dragons, little squad of Howling Banshees, 3 squads of Rangers. We're seeing that repeated again. 3 squads of Swooping Hawks, and 2 squads of Warp Spiders. A little less on the Warp Spiders, a little more on the Swooping Hawks this time around, and big time on the Rangers here. And I think,
It's worth mentioning
yeah,
he only has 1 squad of 10, so, he's gonna be doubling up to 5-man squads in one of these Wave Serpents, so I'm not really sure which
right.
one they'll end up being. Maybe a Phoenix Lord, maybe 2 Phoenix Lords, or maybe these, Howling Banshees in there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he does have Malgan Raw and the Dark Reapers as well, but no Falcon. So, interesting choice to have 2 Wave Serpents over a Falcon here. What do you think about that? Was that
Yeah, he's
just
I think he's just trying to double up 2 of his squads in one of the Wave Serpents, so he
yeah.
can have, like, he has a lot of extra choice here, right? Because he has a
Mhm.
lot of 5-man squads, so he can just pick and choose 2 of his 5-man squads, the Ass Man squad, Malgan Raw's squad, one of the Dark Reaper squads, one of the Howling Banshee squads.
Right.
He can really pick and choose what he wants in his transports, which gives him a little bit of, diversity before the game starts and how he wants to play.
Yeah. That does make sense. Also, for you guys who don't know, obviously a Zerman, after he shoots, he can move back into a transport with his ability, and then Skyborn Sanctuary actually works in both players' fight phases. So if you really need something back in a transport, you could always Skyborn
Yeah, you
Sanctuary
can
in
get
your
both of them
opponent's
out and
hand.
then put them back in. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, over the course of one round, right? In
Mhm.
both players' command phase or end of their fight phases. Okay, next up we have where were we? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna just
Yeah.
butcher this name.
I don't know how to say that name either.
Guillaume, Guillaume.
Guillaume?
I'm
I
so
don't think you
sorry.
use the L's when you're talking about French.
Yeah, Guillaume,
Guillaume
Guillaume
Brisseau.
Brisseau. Yeah, let's take a look. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the Frenchman here. Um, okay, we got a aspect host list with pretty much the same thing, except we do have an Autarch
Strategic
Wayleaper.
Savant Autarch.
Yep, which I really love this Autarch actually. I've used it quite a bit. The first time I ever saw it was Vic Vijay
Yeah,
over
Vic.
at Fireside was using it,
Mhm.
and it something about it just clicked with me about how many times I wasn't able to out OC things when I didn't kill them. Jumping up 24 inches. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna try it
It's
out.
kinda strong, man.
It
Like,
is.
you put them with, the warp spiders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty good with warp spiders because you can jump them up 24, grenade, then you got a fusion gun, and then you can also put them on objective and have a ton more OC. This
Yeah,
is a nice strategy that a lot of people don't run. I think somebody in your Discord, not even Victor J, somebody on your Discord put it on to me. I don't remember who it was, but somebody was talking about running Autarchs with
interesting.
the warp spiders, and I tried it out. It's pretty good.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is a pretty good combo, honestly. I've been turned on by it immensely, dude. In more ways than one.
Yeah.
We got the Wave Serpent, Classic, Dire Avengers, Falcon, Fire Dragons, Howling Banshees, 2 squads of them here. We got 2 squads of Rangers, 3 squads of Hawks, a single Warlock Skyrunner, and 3 squads of Warp Spiders. Yeah, very, very aspect heavy, very fast, very similar to what we've seen before. The only difference here, of course, is Autark,
Autarch. Yeah.
right? Okay. Moving on, we got you, man. Hayden
Do you wanna
Jones.
do mine now or wait until the end?
Interesting. I think, what do you think? Your choice, your list, your choice.
'Cause let's do it at the end because I think
Okay.
the other GBH is also at the end of the list,
Ah,
so
got
we
it.
can do them both at the
We'll
same time.
compare them both. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is Jean-Philippe Lefond. And I think I pronounced that right, but who knows? I'm an American, so we can't pronounce anything outside of our own country. We have Aspect Host. So, Azurman, we do have an Autarch on foot here, probably going with some Howling Banshees or something like that. We have a Solitaire, 1 squad of Void Reavers, Storm Guardians. This is the first time we've seen Storm Guardians. I love Storm Guardians, personally. I do
Yeah,
think,
not a lot of people are taking them.
yeah, I think particularly I like them against specifically Tyrannid. I play Tyranids a lot. And Shadows in the Warp is like a constant, just middle finger to anything that wants to like be on an objective in your home field. So like it could cost you upwards to like 15 victory points sometimes, depending on what the state of the board is. But just like having all your stuff just fail sucks. So being able to sticky something is really good. Sticky
Yeah, man, I
objectives
love
is
the
awesome.
sticky. I agree.
Yeah, Storm Guardians are great. But yeah, not a lot of Aspect Host players using Storm Guardians, which is interesting. So this
I
is the
mean, they're
first time.
spoiled for choice. You know, it's kind of hard to choose when you have like every single aspect host being super useful.
That is very true. That is very true. Because it's like it's either Storm Guardians or like another squad of Warp Spiders. For me, it's like Storm Guardians all day, every day. I'll just have 2 squads of Warp Spiders. For a lot of players, it's like, no, I need that 3. I need that triple spider, you know? So they'll get rid of the Storm Guardians for it. We have a
Hmm.
Falcon, Fire Dragons, 2 squads of Howling Banshees, Rangers, Scorpions again. We've seen them as a kind of kind of off pick, reoccurring theme here. 2 squads of Swooping Hawks, 2 squads of Warp Spiders. What do you think about this list, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty classic. I do like that he has the Storm Guardians and he's got the Scorpions in here, which are a little different. Scorpions, not too many people are picking them. I assume unless you're like really worried about some of these horde armies that people are playing, you don't
Mm-hmm.
need them. But I like if you have like the extra points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Striking Scorpions are a good upgrade to Rangers because like striking Scorpions will actually do something
Right.
other than like move block, right?
Yeah.
And then also because he's got the Scorpions there, people might be less inclined to go aggressive against an Eldar army, which is kind of what you got to do. And so that means he can get his Storm Guardians potentially onto a second objective other than the home and get some sticky and try to project his power a lot more by getting some sticky on a mid objective, which
Yeah.
is certainly useful. Also he's got the Corsairs, so he's got a decent bit of like turn one play in this list compared to some of the other ones that we've seen.
Yeah. Absolutely. And now that I think about it, looking at his list, maybe the Artark is going with the second squad of Howling Banshees here, and Janzar's going with the other one. So it could be more aggressive or defensive, depending on, who he's fighting against. So that is
Yeah.
pretty interesting as well. Cool list. Cool list. Okay, so next up is Jonathan Savori from Canada. Let's see what he's got. Warhost. Interesting. Okay, cool. Another Warhost list. We got Fuegan, Jane Czar, Lycus, Malganral, Solitaire. Again, Solitaire being a common pick because of what I believe to be a tech into indirect
Loan up.
fire. Yep,
Yes.
absolutely. We got Corsair Void Reavers, 2 squads of them, a Wave Serpent, 1 Dark Reaper, 1 Falcon, big squad of Fire Dragons, small squad of Banshees, 2 squads of Rangers, Swooping Hawks, 3 of them again, and 3 Warp Spiders again. Pretty much exactly
This
the
is
same thing.
very similar as Folger's list, right?
Yeah,
Except the only difference is the solitaire there.
right. Exactly. Just that's the one difference, and I think he might have less. No, he still has 2 Rangers. What is he missing here that Folger has?
Let me go back and look here. Um Falcon, maybe? Does he not have a Falcon in this list?
He has a Falcon.
Uh
I'm just trying to see if there's
oh,
any.
does he have 2 squads of Howling Banshees in this list?
He
No?
only
I
has
actually
one.
don't know what the difference is. I don't know how
Yeah.
wait, hold on. Uh, I don't know the difference.
Hmm.
What? How,
Oh, it's Eldred.
oh yeah, Eldred.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I forgot. He's taking the solitaire over Eldred.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Pretty common Warhost list. Pretty much the same as Folgers, except with one little tiny change. Let's go ahead and look at the next list here. Jokull Johansson from Iceland. Cool name. Okay, Eldari, Aspect Host. Same thing. Azurman, Fuegan, Janzar, Lycus. 2 squads of 5 Void Reavers. Dire Avengers, Fire Dragons. Now, we also have the big squad of Banshees here, which is interesting because we only have what looks like to be, I don't know how many Wave Serpents we have. How many do we have? We have 1. So we
One.
don't have 2 Wave Serpents here. So they're on foot, right?
Yeah,
And
is there a Falcon in this list? I don't
there
see
is.
it.
There's one
Oh, there is.
Falcon. Yeah, there's one
It's at the
Falcon.
bottom. Okay.
Very
Yeah,
bottom.
one Falcon, one Wave Serpent. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm guessing Falcon is with Azurman, right?
Assortment. Yeah.
And yeah, other than that, pretty average list here. We do have the big squad of 10 Banshees. We do have double Ranger, we have double Hawk, and we have triple Warp Spider. So pretty
But he's
common
just
aspect.
electing to, get more units instead of more boats.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yep. And I mean, it's possible to like stage a squad of 10 Banshees on most terrain layouts anyway. So should it be
Mhm.
that big of a deal to hide them at least?
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have Leif Westerman from Germany.
Avatar of
Aspect
Cain.
host. Holy
First time we've seen
shit.
Avatar of Cain.
Here
I
we
think
go.
this is the only list that has Avatar of Cain in it, by
That's
the way.
great. That's great. Andy's from Germany, so that's extra points. Because the Avatar I mean, honestly, the Avatar of Cain is just absolutely insane, dude. God of War, uh really cool. Not that great.
I think he's a little overpriced. I mean,
Yeah,
he's certainly useful in Aspect Host just because he's got a whole stratagem dedicated to him. But
right.
yeah, man, he's just not an amazing unit. One thing that like is kind of overlooked is the +1 to move and charge,
Yes.
which is actually kind of useful. And I've been thinking about how I can put it into a list just because that is like just a little that's an extra bonus. I feel like sometimes I want to take him in Warhost just so I can get the +1 and then the extra +1, or like the +2 and then the extra
Right,
+2.
right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, no. He is good in certain builds, like in melee builds. I've run him in actually, weirdly enough, Spirit Conclave to great success because everything in that list is god awful slow. So like that +1 advance on turn one actually allows a lot of the Wraith units to stage properly for once, without the help of tokens. So you can actually use him to like boost up a couple of your Wraith Lords, get them into positions that they would normally not be able to reach with bad advance rolls, right? So I've used him in that list, but again, Spirit Conclave not that competitive. So I mean, it's interesting. We'll see how it works out for him. We have Fuegan, Janezar, and Lycus as well.
Hey, sorry, my internet cut out.
Oh, no worries at all, dude. No worries at all. We're back. We're back on the attack. I didn't even notice you were gone, man.
Yeah, it's fun.
God, dude.
Did
Okay.
you notice this guy has 10 swooping hawks?
Big squad of 10.
Yeah,
He does. Wow, cool.
so 20 swooping
Interesting.
hawks in total.
Yeah, 20 swoops. So this is like one of the lists that has more swooping hawks in it. I still think there's some merit to having a squad of 10, especially with Lycus, because you can just 5 up sustains, 5 up lethals on them, which is insane against horde type armies. Like, it's good. And especially in aspect host, because not a lot of people like, you know, um, kind of think about this, but you have the ability with that preternatural precision stratagem to ignore cover. And that's a really good way of clearing through a bunch of chaff. Like, being able to ignore cover against something like guard recon or, tyrannid swarms is really powerful.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And also, I think I like the so he so since he's from Germany, right? I
Hmm.
think this guy is on the German team, like the WTC team, if I'm not mistaken. Because
Hmm.
I know the swooping hawks thing is really popular. Like that strategy came out of Europe. I mean, I'm not 100% sure about this. I think this guy is on the German team. I was just looking. I don't really know how to see that, but I'm pretty sure he was on the German WTC team. Could
That
be wrong.
makes sense. I mean, Liam, he's not. Liam's not German, right? He's French, right? Liam
Did we just
VSL.
look at him? I
I don't
don't
think
know.
we looked at his list, but anyway, um, he's gonna be on here. He's gonna be
Oh,
here.
Liam VSO is
Yeah,
Belgium. Belgium.
Belgian. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So
he's
I
actually the
mean,
next list. So
oh, perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this list aside from the swooping hawks looks pretty standard, right? You got the 2 squads of warp
Mhm.
spiders and all that stuff. Pretty cool list, pretty solid. Avatar of Cain, I mean, also is the big thing, right? You got an avatar and you got a big squad of hawks, so that is pretty cool.
Something
I give him
different. Yeah.
props. Yep, give him props for that. Okay, here we go. Liam VSO. Let's take a look. Arguably best player in the world. Bringing aspect
We got
host.
we got two of the best players in the world playing Eldar.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
And his list is named, I guess I come with the broken shit. Well, it's only broken because you're playing it. Normally it's fine. Normally it's just good. But when you're playing it, it's something else. So, one thing I've noticed about Liam is he always loves the Storm Guardians, man. He's a Storm Guardian lover. He's like me. He's a man after my own heart. Loves the Storm Guardians. Brings them
We love
along.
them.
Yep. We got Fuegan, Janzar, and Lycus. No Malgan Raw. No Ass
Not
Man.
too heavy on the characters this time around, which is
Yeah.
something that we have yet to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense though, because I think in most of his lists lately, if I'm not mistaken, he does have less characters in general. I think that's because he likes to go heavy on other stuff, other aspect warriors. We do have a Wave Serpent. We have 3 Dark Reapers, which is with Tempest launchers here. And again, Tempest launchers, for those of you guys who don't know, they're indirect fire. They have 2d6 shots with blast. They do not, however, have Ignor's cover.
They don't ignore
But
cover, yeah.
in Aspect Host, you can spend an Aspect token to have them ignore cover, or just pay a CP for it. So it is possible to still get it on one squad. Probably not going to waste the CP on that ever.
Yeah, that might be a bit of a waste of resources.
Yeah, I think in most cases, when you're firing at a big blob of something that has cover, you fire the first 2 Tempest launchers, see what damage you do. If there's like a tiny bit of, infantry left in that squad, maybe then you pop the stratagem to kill them off so they can't just resurrect or whatever, right? But that's very, very niche. 3 Tempest
Yeah,
launchers
three
is,
Tempest launchers. I mean, like anybody that's putting like a kind of like a weak unit on their back objective, like that's just gonna die.
right.
And like if you got some bigger horde units, like especially the Imperial Guard is kind of a boogeyman.
Hmm.
The recon list. I don't know how many people are taking that, but I mean, man, that list is crazy.
I
So
think
this will certainly be useful in that.
if even one person takes it, the whole tournament better watch out, because if they know how to play it correctly, it's almost impossible to deal with. If
Yeah, I
you've
mean, it's
watched,
crazy.
yeah, if you watch the matches, it's like nobody had an answer to it. And I think you're starting to see more people have answers to it with the Tempest launcher spam from Dark Reapers. Now, I don't
I
know
don't think that
exactly
even
if that
really puts
answers
them
it.
over the limit, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
it helps, but I don't know if it answers it because
Yeah.
I mean, there's like 200 plus models in that
Super,
army or
yeah.
something.
I
So
mean, you basically have to kill a blob a turn, and I just, because they don't ignore cover base, I don't think they get it done. But it is what it is. 3 Tempest launchers, still pretty decent at killing, chaff units. Big squad of fire dragons, small squad of banshees, 2 squads of rangers, scorpions, 1 squad, big squad of swooping hawks. We're seeing that again. So, he ran 30 swooping hawks, I think, in the WTC championships, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly.
yeah,
And now he's
mhm.
just running 1 big squad. I mean, 1 big squad in Aspect Host is still really
20 versus
formidable.
30. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Very good still.
and we mentioned in the beginning of the video, but yeah, I mean, they got points nerfed, the big squads, and also you're playing GW layout, so it's a little bit harder to set them up.
Right, exactly. So probably just 1 squad. That's, I think, his reasoning is, I'm just gonna, cut my losses with the triple 10 mans. Go a little bit, go a little smaller here, and then 3 squads of warp spiders to finish off the list. Honestly,
I like this list
yeah, it's
a lot.
solid. I mean, the Dark Reapers, you have 3 squads of them with Tempest launchers. That's interesting. I typically use missile launchers with my army, but I'm not really playing people who sit things in the back that aren't like super tough. Like, mostly I get people running like a big tank in the back, that I'm just like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm not going to kill it with Tempest launchers, or, something like that. Or, squad of like heavy intercessors in my area. It's like, okay, well, Tempest launchers aren't going to do anything against those. So having that's interesting.
It's worth mentioning that, like, having 1 Tempest launcher compared to 3 Tempest launchers is kind of a big difference for, like, what you're gonna be able to kill with Tempest launchers, so
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like 1 Tempest launcher is useless. Right? It's like going to kill like 1 or 2 models, maybe 3 if you roll like good. That's about it. 3 Tempest launchers, it's like, okay, you're putting your opponent on a timer on their back objective, And that's important, especially when you have stuff in reserve. So this list in particular has those swooping hawks that could be in reserve, right? So you're making your opponent keep something more important back there is really what he's doing by putting the 3 Tempest launchers in there. It's almost like a mind game, right? Like,
Yep.
hey, I just want to let you know, you tell them your list before the game, these have Tempest launchers, they're in direct fire. Your opponent's like, oh crap, okay, well, I can't put my cultists on the objective, I can't put my grots on the objective. I'm going to need to put some boys on there, right? And then all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
so they can avoid the swooping hawks deep striking onto their objective.
exactly. And then you're playing a different game, right? You're playing a
Yeah,
game that you have a points advantage in the mid board by turn 2, by turn 3. So that's,
absolutely.
yeah, really interesting list. Again, man, Storm Guardians, love them. Love them. Sticky objective on a big unit that can just spread out and screen your backfield. And this unit, by the way, guys, it's not really going to die to indirect fire that much. It has a 4-up save, 3-up because of cover, and it's like even
5
if
up
it
in
does
invul.
die, yeah, invul, 5
Yeah,
up invul, so it just doesn't die very easily. Your
12
opponent
wounds.
usually, yeah, 12 wounds, exactly. And, most of the time what's going to happen is your opponent's just not going to be able to kill the unit before turn 3. And then you don't really have to, unless you're fighting an army that has, uppy downy, you don't have to worry about the reserves anymore. So by that time in the game, it's like, well, you've kind of wasted all of your indirect fire all game, right? So
Another thing
oftentimes they
that's
just
worth
don't shoot it.
mentioning
Mhm.
is that you got like the 2 fusion guns, which are not anything you can't really like ignore them because they might actually kill something. 2 fusion guns.
Oh,
And then
absolutely.
in melee, you got the 2 power swords. And then, I mean, the flamers are like less useful depending on who you're playing against, but they have useful weapons. They actually do stuff other than score points sometimes.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I've had Storm Guardians do some pretty amazing things, honestly. And it's like, you don't think they would do it, but they do it. They're good.
Dude,
They're really, really good.
I was playing a tournament game and I was playing into Chaos Knights. And I remember I had one of my Guardian bricks, and there was a Chaos Knight on 16 wounds, I believe. And
Nice.
I was shooting my entire Guardian squad at another Chaos Knight, and then I was like, oh, he has that despoiler with double Gatling cannons there. Like, really, I'm not really in range except for my fusion guns. Let me just shoot them at that despoiler. I was like, and I rolled my dice. He failed his saves. I rolled my damage. I was like, sorry, man. I did roll 2 sixes here. Like, sorry, your despoiler's dead off 2 guardians. I actually felt so bad for him. He's a good friend of mine, but man, I was like, sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I just killed 3 of your knights in 1 turn just because of that.
It's like that moment in Lord of the Rings where like Eowyn asks Gimli where Aragorn is, and Gimli's like, he fell.
Yeah, I felt genuinely bad for my opponent that day.
Dude, honestly, I always feel bad when they roll really bad, and then I play the same guys like multiple times, so they roll really good the next game. I'm like, all right, I don't feel bad anymore. I mean, my most recent opponent rolled 7 out of 7 invuls on his Norn emissary against fire dragons. I was
That
like,
is really annoying.
damn, okay, did nothing, no damage. It was wild. Okay, next up,
Oh,
Matt
I love
Schumann.
this list, by the way.
Yep, Art of
I
War.
love this list.
I hope I pronounced his last name right, but let's take a look. Matt's an Art of War guy. Eldari Warhost, Autark, Eldrad,
Wait, read the name of the list first.
oh, here we go. A pile of elf trash. Matt, you have made an enemy on this day. Let's see what he's got. Well, first of all, Eldrad, I mean, greatest psyker in the galaxy, bar none, but anyway. Autark, common build here, Eldrad, Fuegan, Janezar, Malgan Solitaire. Interesting. Okay, so
No,
pretty
Lycus.
pretty standard. Oh, no Lycus. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, no Lycus in this list. Interesting. You know what, though? It might be because he's playing Warhost and he doesn't have as easy access to lethal or sustained hits, which is interesting. We have 2 Wave
Yeah.
Serpents in this list, 1 squad of 5 Dark Reapers, 1 big squad of Dragons, 2 squads of 5 Howling Banshees, 2 squads of Rangers, 2 squads of Spears, interesting, and then 3 Warp Spiders to finish off the list. So, double Spears, double. This is really weird This is strange
Because
because
it's
this is
not even an
Warhost.
aspect host.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
very interesting.
does he have hot dice or what? I mean, I'm wondering why why he's running this. Maybe he's just had that much success with them. But I've
Look,
been
like,
running.
they
Yeah,
get the plus 1 extra inch, so they're gonna be
right.
moving, like, 17 inches, right, through walls?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
which
nothing
is
to
good.
scoff at.
Yeah, it's really
Sure, they
fast.
don't do an amazing amount of damage, but, like, that's a huge threat range.
Yeah, it is. It is huge. The problem is when they get into combat. Then it's
Yeah,
like,
but like we
do I
mentioned earlier, not every player knows that they actually like unless
right.
you're an Eldar player, you might really be expecting them to kill something.
Yeah, exactly. You won't know it. Very true. Actually, all my opponents are always worried about the Shining Spears. But then when they get into combat, they see what they do. They're like, oh, okay, I guess you rolled really bad. And it's like, shh, I didn't.
Yeah,
But
I roll
I,
bad all the time.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Interesting list. I like the list. Um, couple things are kind of a little bit strange, like the Wave Serpent instead of the Falcon. You would usually think like 5 Dark Reapers and Magun Ra want rerolls. That's not here in the list, but it does allow him to put an extra unit in there, which is a little bit interesting. So he's getting more threat range on Howling Banshees, perhaps, and Jane Czar.
I think it's gonna be double banshees because
Mm-hmm.
or no, because he's got the Mugen Raw, right? So he's
Right,
probably gonna put Mugen Raw and get him in and out of the Wave Serpent.
right. That's
And
what I
then yeah,
felt.
banshees.
Yeah, and then Banshees with Jane, probably.
I
Yeah.
don't think they have 12 capacity, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he can put either the Odark or the Jane Czar in the Wave Serpent.
Yeah, I mean, or theoretically, he could, actually throughout the course of the game have both of them in there, right? Like launch Jane
True.
Czar at something, then launch the Autark at something, like, going in and out of the Wave Serpents. So that's pretty interesting, kind of set up your Wave Serpent in a really good, like, launch position and then just launch a couple units of, like, Howling Banshees out there. Pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
this is a cool
list,
take on the Warhost list. I like
yeah,
this.
it's actually, the more I look at it, actually, the more I kind of analyze it, it's very aggressive because you have the Shining Spears as well being able to just be thrown up there, very fast, very far. Um, it's interesting. Definitely.
A
I
ton of threat
definitely,
range.
yeah,
Yep.
I'd love to watch this list be played on the board, honestly. To see how it does. Be really cool. Okay. Next up, we have Maxim. I'm just gonna say Max.
Max Zimmer.
Maxime Zimmer,
Who
from
knows?
France. Let's take a look. Aspect host. So we got Azurman, Fuegan, Janes are alike as Magun Ra. Pretty common matchup there, or common lineup. We have 2 units of Void Reavers, Wave Serpent, 1 Dark Reaper, 1 Dire Avenger, 1 Falcon, Fire Dragons, squad of 5 though.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've seen that. Squad of 5.
Yeah, he's only got 5 Fire Dragons.
Yeah,
The props for him for not taking a 10-man. I think that's the first list we've even looked at today that
yeah,
doesn't have a 10-man Fire Dragon squad.
absolutely. Absolutely. He's from France as well. So I think maybe he's betting on people not bringing as many like tanks, right? Because maybe
Yeah.
people are kind of like saying, oh, well, Eldar are just going to destroy a heavy tank list. So I'll just bring less Fire Dragons, gives me more points to work with. That's totally fair. Also gives me more room in the Wave Serpent to, like, any outie some stuff. Howling Banshees, 2 squads of them. Rangers, 1 squad. Shadow Weavers, dude. 2 Shadow
Yeah, I
Weavers.
love this list as well. 2 Shadow Weavers.
Yeah. And this
That's
is,
something I would have never thought of even taking. It would have never came into my mind, which
yeah.
I think is so cool.
I mean, the troll in me would think about it, but only for troll purposes, and then I would know I would be disappointed in the results. So, for those of you guys who don't know, Shadow Weavers, little known secret, they have the ability to cause mortal wounds when enemies move. Now, this is interesting because it just says makes a normal move or charge move. So, as a matter of fact,
It's advanced as well.
it's advanced as well. Okay, cool.
It's
So,
not charge move. It's advanced, fallback, and
oh,
normal.
fallback,
It's
fallback.
not
That's what
charge
it
though.
is. Okay. So reactive moves are normal moves. So if your opponent makes a reactive move with something, they will also have to test twice. For every roll of a 1, the unit suffers a mortal wound. So if you hit a big squad of 20, for example, like, see, I actually think this is like a direct counter to,
Yeah, this is definitely looking at, like, recon
right.
element and countering that
Yeah,
because
because
it will definitely hurt that.
yeah, they have to move, right? And you're rolling 20 dice. On average, you're losing 3 of them. Then if they want to do their reactive move, which they do have access to, they will have to take it again.
Mhm.
And that's on top of the damage they're already doing. So,
Yeah,
they
the
are
indirect
blast.
fire, it's got AP as well, so it's
Right.
not like the Tempest launchers that are 0 AP.
Right. Exactly. So this is very interesting. I love that. I love that as a tech. And they're not that expensive either. They're
No,
75
they're
points
like
a
I think
piece.
they're the cheapest support platform if I'm not
It's a
mistaken.
vibro cannon at 60
Oh,
and then
vibro
these at
cannons. Yeah, yeah,
75.
yeah.
Vibros are just God, they're funny. They're
Yeah, I
really
love
good.
vibros.
Yeah.
I just didn't have points to take them in my list. I wish they could join Storm Guardian units, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Exactly. Exactly. They kind of need to join something. And that's hard to choose between D cannons and vibros. 2 squads of swooping hawks, 2 squads of warp spiders. Really interesting list. He's basically taking out a swooping hawk and a warp spider for these two void shadow weaver platforms. Shadow weavers, like I said, pretty decent at kind of countering big blobs of infantry and just mind gaming your opponent. Just like, okay, well, I'm going to tag 2 different units. If either unit uses their reactive move, they're going to be taking extra wounds, right?
This is also kind of nice against Eldar. I mean,
Yeah,
the because there are a bunch of Eldar players this time around. That indirect is going to hurt, and then maybe take a mortal wound off of them when they move or do any sort of reactive move or any
right.
sort of move shenanigans that are normal moves.
100%. Yep, it also works very good against Eldar stuff. Very true. And I actually think it's specifically good against Howling Banshees because Howling Banshees are going to be fucking, a less save. They have a 4+ versus a 3+, so you're going to be just at a 4 up when you roll your dice. You have 2 of them. Banshees are going to need to. I mean, they're going to move, right? They're not going to be a unit. They're just going to sit there and do nothing. So you got them, right? Like you can
Yeah,
take out.
and typically, you got like you're gonna use some of your aspect token or not aspect, battle focus tokens on them to move them as well. So there's
Right.
definitely a lot of damage that can come out of into Eldar for
Yeah.
these.
Absolutely. And they do good at screening as well. Like they're not bad just sitting in the back and screening.
By the
Cool
way, these
list.
Dark Reapers don't have Tempest, no Tempest launcher on the Dark Reapers.
Oh,
These
interesting.
go into missile launcher.
Yeah,
Yeah,
missile launcher. That actually makes sense because they're going in the Falcon, I think, right? Or
yeah,
no?
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're going into Falcon with Mugen Raw.
yeah. So this is how I run them because I just don't think the Tempest launchers do anything in my local area. But yeah, missile launchers are great because they hit on 2s and an aspect host, you reroll 1s. So like the Exarch is always doing consistently more damage than anything else in the unit, which is great. Okay, let's take a look at the next list here. We have Morin Mathieu from France. And he brings us the real Fantastic Four. Let's see. Oh, look at that. There are 4 characters in this list. Azurman, Fuegan, Janzar, and Lycus. Actually, kind of very similar to the actual Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah,
A little bit. I mean, you don't have the thing in there. I mean, who's the thing, right? I mean, who knows?
Fugen could
Fuegan,
be. Well, I
right? Because
guess
he
he's
revives.
also the fire one.
Yeah.
Uh, well, Eldar aren't known for their toughness, so
Yeah,
there's no tough Phoenix Lord.
exactly. I guess Fuegan would be the toughest there. So we have those Corsair Void Reavers, Wave Serpent, Dire Avengers, Falcon, okay. Fire Dragons, Banshees, Rangers, Striking Scorpions, 2 squads this time. So
Yeah,
he's loving his Striking Scorpions. I love Striking
got a lot
Scorpions
of
too.
infiltrating, a lot of
Yeah.
infiltrating this time.
They're really fun. I just think they're a little too many points. Like, make them 80 points, Like, I don't think 85. It just doesn't seem right to me how expensive
Yeah,
they
they're
are.
a
But
great unit, but like normally, like if you just want an infiltrating unit, like you just take Rangers. Their striking scorpions certainly hurt, but they're 85 for an infiltrating unit that dies to like the drop of a hat is I don't
right,
know.
right. I mean, Scout is nice, but again,
Well,
like,
he's got the or the one Void Reaver squad, so he's gonna have like 5 before the game starts. He's gonna like have 5 units in the midboard.
yeah, he's gonna have a lot of infiltration and scouts. Like it's kind of insane. Swooping Hawks, 3 squads of those, and then triple Warp Spider. So
Yep.
same thing there. And at this point in the video, I'm going to ask you: do you think Swooping Hawks and Warp Spiders are going to get nerfed in the next data slate? I mean,
Dude, I don't know. I kind of wish they weren't, but like,
yeah,
honestly, it depends on how well Eldar players do. But like, look, I don't really play any of them in my because I'm playing Guardian host. But like,
right,
the problem is like the more you nerf Warp Spiders and Swooping Hawks, the worse Eldar are.
right,
Like, just because there's not a whole lot of choices. I
hmm
mean, they're movement units in a movement army.
right.
So I I actually don't think Swooping Hawks will get nerfed, but I wouldn't be surprised if Warp Spiders go up 5 points.
Yeah, probably
Because like
just
Swooping
to
Hawks have already been nerfed, and
yeah,
they refuse to nerf their 5. Like people were already taking so many Swooping Hawks, they just nerfed the 10-mans and not the 5-mans.
right.
So I don't think Swooping Hawks will get nerfed, but yeah, Warp Spiders, I wouldn't be surprised if they take at least a 5-point nerf. I don't think it's necessary.
Right.
Um, I think because every single list we've seen, man, like they all have the same fucking units. I think the obvious solution is, yeah, maybe small nerfs on some of these things like warp spiders, but I think they need to bring down points of other units that we haven't seen and we won't see. Like we're not going to see a single wraith unit in this entire thing.
Right.
Nobody's running a single wraith unit. Like it goes to show that there's like no fire prisms. There's so many units in this book that nobody is taking at all. Like we
Yeah.
saw one shadow weaver, like 2 shining spears. It goes like those units need to get buffed so that we can play things that don't involve, like 9 fucking scoring units.
Right. 100%. I would love to see buffs on those units, like Vipers too, man. Like Vipers, man. Come on. Like they
Yeah,
need to have a
Vipers
purpose.
are they need to have a purpose. I think I'm the only person running the fucking Shroud Runners.
Yeah.
There's actually one person running a squad of bikes in this entire list.
Wow.
So there are like I'd say half our codex is not even being used in any of these lists, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it goes to show that like the aspect host stuff is really good. Like the aspects are good, but I don't even think the aspect stuff really needs nerf. I think that like we don't really get a choice, man. If you want to run a good list, like unless you're running something off meta, you gotta run aspects.
Yeah. Also, I think, for some of the other units, the argument is the synergies aren't there. Like there's a ton of synergies with aspects, right? Because in aspect host and war host, you're getting in and out of transports, you're able to move really fast on the battlefield, but benefit from stratagems and stuff a little easier. Shroud runners, they don't really benefit from much, like in aspect host or war. Like there's no reason to take them, right? Because you already have the
Yeah.
tools. Um,
You already get rid of covered through stratagems, so you don't need
right,
them in those 2 detachments.
right. And they're 80 points, so that's like, it's not like a super steep cost, but it is, a chunk of points. And they are going to die. And there's a lot of
Mhm.
things in the game that just kill through wound models really easily. They just pop them, you know?
Yeah.
So, anyway, okay, so that's Morin's list there. Let's take a look at the next list, which is Nicholas Verma from the United States. I hope I pronounced that correctly. This is somebody who I've seen on a couple streams. Very good Eldar player. Let's take a look. We have Eldrad, so we have Warhost list. Eldrad, Fuegan, Janezar, Lycus, Malgan Ra, Wave Serpent. Pretty standard so far. Dark Reapers, Falcon, Fire Dragons, 10 of them. Howling Banshees, 3 squads of Rangers, 1 Swooping Hawk only, so only doing a squad of Swooping Hawks for reserve rapid ingress stuff, it seems. 2 Warlock Skyrunners, again, pretty common here. Warp Spiders, Warp Spiders, Warp Spiders, and then Wind Riders. He does have
Yeah.
6 Wind Riders Shuriken Cannons. Interesting.
I believe he's the only person taking a squad of Wind Riders.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you have the Warlock Skyrunners,
Right.
so he can put the Warlock Skyrunner with the Wind Riders, and then he doesn't have to use Ignore Cover on them.
Yep.
So,
There's some powerful
no, I like
combo
it.
potential in here because Lycus gives, again, these guys have lethal hits base with the Shuriken Cannons, and you can give them that stratagem that gives them sustained hits. So they come from reserve, right? They're within 9 inches. They get the sustained hits. They get the lethal hits, and then Lycus hits them, and they're doing it on fives, right?
Well,
And
they
they're
if they were coming
re-rolling
in from
hits.
reserve, they wouldn't be within 9, so you'd have to, like,
Or
wrap it and ingress
within
them, right?
12.
Oh, is it within oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
half range. So, yeah, then they would be yeah, they would be able to do that.
Yeah, pretty easily. Yeah, just within 12, the stratagem. It's just if you're within 12, which is a little bit awkward for some units. Like Dire Avengers, their ability is sustained hits within their half range of 18. So that doesn't work with reserves, but these guys with that stratagem do. So really powerful combination here. And re-rolling hits too, so you can fish, which makes it extremely powerful, extremely hard hitting against heavy infantry. Basically, any heavy infantry unit is dead. Like this unit against, for example, an orc horde, like you got a squad of 20 boys, it's done. It's wiped in a single turn, right? Like, doesn't matter if there's a pain boy in it, they will die. Um, so that could be a reason why he's taking this, is to counter some things
He's
like
got a
that.
lot of good damage in this list.
Right.
Like, through the Dark Reapers, the Fire Dragons, and the Wind Riders, which can go into either infantry or tanks. I mean, yeah, it's got a lot of heavy firepower.
Yeah, big time. I think it might actually, I'm not sure of the math, but I think this might actually be a unit that can also kill Necron blobs, like Necron warrior blobs in a single turn shooting.
Uh, that's I don't think so. I mean, the Necron Warrior Blob unit is pretty crazy. Same with like a lot of the Necron stuff is tough. Like even with my Guardian bricks, like I had to play into Necrons in the last GT I played into,
Hmm.
and I only just barely killed the Wraith unit with the Guardian bricks. So
Yeah, yeah,
the
you're tough
Necron
enough.
units are tough. And honestly, Eldar, specifically that like Awakened Dynasty, like 20 men Necron blob, against a
Yeah.
good player, when you're playing Eldar, that's a really tough matchup, especially in Warhost and Aspect Host. That's just a bad matchup, man. Like it's really hard to get that unit dead with the stuff that we have available. But you're right that this certainly can do damage. So
Yeah, I feel like if you spike on it, maybe, but yeah, you're right. I mean, they do have Feel No Pain 5 up, so that's hard to get around, even with damage to weapons. And they do have a 4 plus base save, which will go to a 5 plus here. So yeah, there's some hurdles they need to get over. But yeah, interesting list. I like the Wind Rider inclusion. I think in any detachment that they're going to be good in besides Wind Rider host, it's going to be War Host. So that is cool.
yep.
Next up, we do have Peter Elias from the United States. Let's take a look. War Host again. 2 Autarchs this time, double Autarch. One is with Reapers, because it has a Reaper launcher. And one is with probably Howling Banshees. You have Fuegan, Janzar, and Lycus. We have 2 units of Corsair Void Reavers. Wave Serpent, big squad of 10 Dark Reapers, 1 small squad of 5, small squad of 5 Fire Dragons, and then 1 big daddy squad of 10. Wow. Lots of hard anti-tank here. 2 squads of 5 Howling Banshees, Rangers, 1 squad only, 2 squads of Swooping Hawks, 2 squads of Warp Spiders. What do you think about this list? Because it has,
A lot of heavy firepower again.
yeah, only 1 Wave Serpent. And I think that's
So
just
I assume
because,
the Fire Dragons and Fugans are gonna go in there.
yes, most likely. And then the Reapers with the
Like
Autarch.
we talked about this earlier, but you can put them in reserves and bring them
Right.
out, and they're pretty strong. The only thing is that the 10-man Dark Reaper squad doesn't have a missile launcher. Like I get the other one having a Tempest launcher, but I feel like this 10-man should have a missile launcher.
Yeah, it doesn't, does it? Yeah, I feel like it should as well. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't know how he's going to use that, but I feel like the 10-man should have a missile launcher. The other 5-man, and then this 5-man Fire Dragons. I don't think a lot of people realize this because most people, when they play Fire Dragons, 10-man Fugan, that's it. I play a lot of 5-man Fire Dragons, and it's not that hard to get them in a position to get the melt range
Mhm,
because they move 7, then you can advance them because they have assault, and then you can add +2 to them. So, I
mhm,
mean, that's a max of 15 inches. You can move them. It does leave a little bit up to the dice how you're moving them, which I have had screw me before, but it's not like it's impossible to get them into the melter range because you can potentially move them 15 inches if you stage them first. And then like put it like a melee unit, kind of, you put them behind a wall, and you're like, well, if you move a tank, I mean, I have a 15-inch, then the plus a 6-inch melter range, so just watch out for my fire dragons that can come out behind a wall and blow up your tank.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I mean, you're not investing a whole lot in 5 fire dragons. 120 points is relatively cheap for what they can do. So there is that.
Don't
They
say
are a
that. They'll get
sacrifice,
nerfed
though.
again.
Oh
Don't
God.
say that. They'll get nerfed again.
Well, I mean, I still think they don't trade up against some stuff sometimes. It just depends on the stratagems your opponent uses. But
Yeah, I mean, if the thing has a invul rate,
yeah,
then there's definitely a chance they won't trade up. Like in my last GT, I remember I pretty much tabled the guy except for the Silent King, but I had 2 squads of 5 fire dragons shoot into the Silent King and do like no damage because he just made all his invuls,
right.
which I was a little bit unhappy about, but other than that, it didn't matter. So
Yeah,
occasionally you like the Fugan, the 10-man squad, like you're very likely, even if it has an invul, to kill it. But with the Fire Dragon, the 5-mans, I mean, if it has an invul, there's definitely not a 100% chance you're killing anything when you shoot at it. If you're
right.
shooting at like a Space Marine tank, though, no invul, yeah, you're gonna kill it. So
Yeah, big time, man. Yeah, I mean that's something endemic of 10th edition. Really, is that everything seems to have an invul that's a big target. So it's like, you know, there's always that chance that you're not going to do anything, even with a squad of 10. I mean, your opponent like my last opponent just makes 7 saves, 4+ easy. It can happen. So you have to watch out.
absolutely.
Yeah, interesting list, good list. You got big daddy units. I think really fire and fade with the Autarch and with the Reaper launcher and the Reapers is what he's gonna do, which is interesting. So yeah, interesting list here. Next up, we have Remy Serren from Canada. Let's take a look. Okay, another Warhost. Eldrad, Fuegan, Janezar, Lycus, Malgan Raw, common picks, 2 units of Void Reavers, Wave Serpent, 1 Dark Reaper, 1 Falcon, of course going with Malgan Raw in there, Fire Dragons, Howling Banshees, 2 squads of Rangers, Scorpions, 2 squads of Hawks, and 3 Spiders. This is standard, right? We've seen this
This
before.
is literally just Folger's list, but I think he switched a Reaper out for a Striking Scorpion squad.
Yeah, I think that's literally all it is. He's here to
Yeah.
live in the moment, though. That's the important thing, right? WCW 2025. Let's read this for everybody. Here to have fun and live the moment. Long journey from 2nd edition, all because Eldar's caught me in the hobby. Cheers. Cool, man. Dude, that's awesome. From 2nd edition. Actually, weird story. I started playing right after the 3rd edition rulebook came out. And I had a lot of the old, old 40K players in the shop saying how 3rd edition was ruining the game at the time because 2nd edition was so bonkers. It's a totally different game, guys. 2nd edition to 3rd edition is like a whole new game of Warhammer 40K. It was like totally different. Everything was different. Like every
I
single
only
thing
started playing
changed.
in 6th. I'm only 23, right? So
Yeah. Of course, you're not going to remember this stuff, but yeah, 2nd edition, man. This guy Remy, dude. There's somebody that I know named Remy, but I think it's Remy Gallard from France. That freaking prankster. You probably don't know of him.
I do not know him.
Yeah, when I was a kid, he was the funny guy. All right. So, next up, Simon Baines. Cool. Let's take a look. All right, Simon, what do you got? Floats like a cannonball, stings like a whale shark. Okay. Interesting. Seer Council. Here we go.
Oh wait, I didn't see this. I didn't. I said earlier there was no Sierra Council. I guess I was wrong. I guess I must have missed this one. My bad.
Easy to miss. Easy to miss. Honestly, if it's only one list in 30, right? So
Hmm.
this guy's got an Autarch, Eldrad, of course, got a regular Farseer and a Warlock with the Torque of Moray Hague. Torque of Moray Hague is just like a epic, really good version
Now
of
you need to take that.
yeah, it's like what do you call it? Vectora, right? It works
Hmm.
pretty much exactly the same. With the exception that if your opponent uses a stratagem near you and doesn't have the CP, they just lose the CP, man.
Yeah, it's pretty
As
funny.
per the FAQ, yeah. So this is
Although
actually kind of
no
better.
die. which I
Yeah,
think is quite useful. I mean, it did get nerfed, I believe. It's kind of expensive, right? 30 points.
30
But
points.
Lucid
Yeah.
Eye is super good in Seer Council, so kind of surprising, but
I'm hot take here. I actually think the Lucid Eye is a little bit overrated in 2K games.
really.
Now,
Okay.
reason being, and it's honestly, you just don't need the CP sometimes. You just have so
That's
much
fair. If you have
CP.
Eldrad already, like,
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to run out of CP.
right.
And he has an Autark, so
Exactly. And you're going to end up
he's
using the stratagems anyway. So, if you roll like a bunch of like low numbers, there's still stratagems that you're going to use almost every turn there. Like forewarned, you're going to use, unless you're in a specific matchup and you roll specifically bad against that specific matchup. Like that's the only way that Lucid Eye is like really, really needed, right? Like if you're going
I'm
against
wondering.
Tau, for example.
Oh yeah. By the way, it's worth mentioning. I think Tau is incredibly good into Eldar. But
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I
Pretty
was
good.
wondering, how many command points does this list get over 5 turns? Because you've got Eldrad, and then you've got the 10 that you get normally, so it's 15. Then you get an extra 5 from the Autark, and then 6 from the detachment, right?
Yeah, so you're
26
getting
command points that
26
you get to
command points.
use. 26 command points over the
Course of
game.
the game,
That's
yeah.
pretty crazy. Like when you're playing
Yeah.
against this guy, you're like, he's gonna be like, I'm using a stratagem, I'm using a stratagem, I'm using a stratagem, and I'm using another one.
Yep. That's how it works, man. Seer Council is, and again, to play Seer Council, you not only need to know the stratagems in your detachment, but you need to know the basic stratagems really well, because things that you wouldn't even think about using in a normal, like because they're too expensive, you're using in Seer Council. Like you're using counteroffensive, like more
Yeah,
often
just
than
because
any
you
other.
have so many command points, you can just use them willy nilly.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with an autark, reducing it by one. Like you're using
Hmm.
that a lot more frequently. So yeah. So anyway, so Farseer is a good choice too. Guide is always useful in this detachment. The problem with this detachment doesn't have a lot of upfront damage, right? A lot of the damage is like reliant on certain things, like either that your opponent has or that you have just baked into the data sheet. So there's not a lot of damage boosting capacity like in the stratagems. There's one stratagem that ignores cover and gives you critical AP -1 on wound rolls. So if you roll a 6 to wound, you get
Yeah,
like an
Fate
extra pip.
Inescapable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Inescapable. It's okay, right? Fate is Inescapable is okay. It's better for the ignores cover than it is the critical AP.
Isha's Fury as well does a
Isha's
little bit of
Fury.
damage.
Yep.
You can use that in combo with like grenades and get some mortal wounds on there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Really powerful. This list also wants to Overwatch depending on what it has in it. So it does have one squad of Void Reavers, which are really good. It has two squads of Guardians, Guardian Defenders, and Storm Guardians, which attach to the Farseers, Eldrad and the Farseer. Big squad of Reapers, common again, but no Malgan Raw, right? No Malgan Raw on this list, so that's a little
Going with
interesting.
it's not even going with an Autark.
Yeah, it doesn't even go with the Autark, it looks like. We have 5 Fire Dragons, 5 Fire Dragons, 3 squads of 5 Fire Dragons. Actually, kind of interesting, but they have the Exarch Dragon fusion gun, it seems like.
Yeah, I think if you're running the 5-man dragons, you should run the fusion gun.
Yeah, so you can
Because
boost the wound roll and just make it wound and just hope that you get a damage
yeah,
6 out of it. Yeah,
right,
interesting.
you just spend this aspect token on that every time.
Yeah,
Um, and when you have 3 squads of them, what I talked about earlier is you're just gonna be, like, staging them and running them out one at a time,
right.
put some damage on something.
Right. You could always rapid ingress a squad too. That's also another idea. Again,
That is
this
something that I occasionally do if there's, like, maybe not too many tanks on the board.
yeah, I mean this detachment just shits out CP anyway. Right. We have a squad of 5 Howling Banshees, which go with the Autark most likely for free heroic interventions and like counter strikes and stuff like that. We have 2 squads of 5 Rangers. Warwalker makes sense. Get some extra AP out there. We have 2 Bright Lances on this one. Big Warlock Conclave, Big Daddy Conclave of 4, which again, I think even though it got nerfed, is the way to go. At least in my Seer Council list, that's what I run.
Yeah, in Seer Council, definitely.
Yeah, because
I play against Seer Council a lot in mirror matchups.
yeah, Seer Council is awesome, dude. It's an awesome detachment. Has some like, there's going to be a lot of thinking to this list, obviously, but we do have a small warlock conclave as well. Sorry, not three, two warlock skyrunners here, and 3 squads of warp spiders, which is common. Again, warp spiders really good. So yeah, really good list, man. Really cool Seer Council list. Very similar to what I have actually in my own Seer Council. I don't have the Guardians and the Farseer with the extra 2 Warlocks. I just have the big unit of 10, and I use the extra points to get a massive squad with Assman and Dire Avengers. But yeah, these are really good, man. I like
Yeah,
this list a lot.
the Guardians are actually pretty decent in this because you can teleport them around. Same with the Dark Reapers, by the way. It's kind of the same deal as in bringing them in the reserve and putting them in a different area, but it's just easier to do.
Right, right.
And then the Storm Guardians, right? Like you have the Storm Guardians with the Warlock Conclave, and then you can also use Forewarned on them, and they become pretty tough at minus like 2 to wound and -1 to hit. So if anybody's getting +1 to wound against you, you can cancel that out. They're a tough unit. You put them with Eldrad, then put +1 to wound on them, and then you use the what the hell is it? The Warwalker, and then you shoot everything at them. It's almost as effective as the Guardian Battle Host version of it. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can get almost, but you don't reroll wounds, which is
yeah, no reroll wounds, and then
yeah,
you'd have to put the +1 to hit with the
right,
Farseer on there.
right, absolutely. Yeah, still very cool list. I love Seer Council. It's one of my favorite detachments. Actually, thematically, it is my favorite. I'll just be honest. Even Aspect Host, I love playing it, but really strong. Not my favorite all the time. Like it's just Seer Council makes you think, and that's what I like doing
It's a
here.
lot harder to play than,
Yeah,
you have to think a lot more than your opponent does when you
well,
play.
yeah, the thing is if I'm going into the shop and I just want to play like 1 or 2 games, I'm probably playing Seer Council. If I'm practicing for a tournament or something like that, I'm probably playing Aspect Host because honestly, if I have to play 5 games in a row with Aspect Host versus Seer Council, I'm picking Aspect Host because it's much simpler to use in general.
Yeah,
It's just
I
much
agree.
less
This
on my
guy's gonna
head.
have to play, 8 games, but it's worth mentioning that, because you're only playing 2 games, 4 hours instead of 3 games, 3 hours, it's a little easier to play. I
Right,
absolutely love that you only have to play 2 games for 4 hours each. Man, because
right.
sometimes, like, at least with my list, when we get to my list, like, I end up spending, like, at least 30 minutes on my first 2 turns.
Right.
Yeah, so I uh, get a little low on time when I'm playing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, like, I think 4 hour format is better in general because it allows for more people to like kind of diversify their lists a little bit as well. Like, if you want to take a more Horde army, you can without having to worry about the clock as much, you know?
Well, it's better if we're just talking about tournaments, but, like, people have lives, so you can't really get that many games
Yeah,
done in a weekend if you're only playing 2 a day.
very true.
But this is 4
Yep.
days, so we definitely got the time for that.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Alrighty. Taking a look at the next list here. It is Svenyang Noting from Norway. Again, sorry if I mispronounce her name here. Let's
I
take
think
a
that was
look.
pretty good.
Yeah, maybe I did get it. Svenyang? Yeah, I probably got it pretty good there. Oh, God. Okay, so we have Fuegan, Janzar, Lycus, Malganra, right? Classic characters. We are playing Aspect Host. 1 squad of Void Reavers, 1 Wave Serpent, Dark Reapers, Falcon, Fire Dragons, squad of 10, 2 squads of Howling Banshees, 2 squads of Rangers, Striking Scorpions, 3 squads of Hawks, 3 squads of Warp Spiders, right? We've seen this, right? We've seen
Yeah.
this list 100 times. So,
I like that this guy on his list, he has at the bottom, he's, like, talking about his detachment rule and kind of, like, explaining it to him.
oh, interesting. Look at this. Yeah,
First time I've seen that, so he can just hand it to his opponent, and then,
very smart.
he doesn't even have to go through the explaining, which is useful, especially if you're playing 3-hour rounds.
Big time. Yeah, this is absolutely what you need to. You know what's funny? I say the exact same shit to everybody. Look at this. He even says the same thing I do in the beginning of the game. I detach my rules of reroll ones a hit or wound with aspect warriors. I choose hits unless it's flamers or I say otherwise. Yeah, that's exactly what I say. Right? If I don't say anything, it's hits. Right? because you'll get
Hmm.
people like you'll get weird people. Oh, you didn't say what it was, you know. So I always say in the beginning of the game like what it is, right? Okay, next up is Tycho Baylord from Switzerland, the Swiss. Let's see what he has. Aspect Host, Autark with Strategic Savant. Interesting that it's not an Autark Wayleaper. We have Eldrad, Fuegan, Janezar, and Lycus. Corsair Void Reavers, we got 2 squads of those and a squad of Storm Guardians. Wave Serpent, big squad of Fire Dragons, 2 squads of Howling Banshees. We got Rangers, Striking Scorpions, 2 squads or 3 squads of Swooping Hawks, and 3 squads of Warp Spiders. Again, pretty much a staple, right? The only differences here are the Scorpions, I believe, and
He's got Storm Guardians as
Storm
well, so he's
Guardians.
gonna
Yeah,
put those with Eldrad. You know,
yeah,
doesn't want him to get indirected out of there. And then the Strategic Savant, which I imagine is gonna go on the Howling Banshees, but it's not bad to take it on the Striking Scorpions as well, depending on what your opponent's running. If you want to
right.
take an objective early.
Oh, big time. Yeah, being able to wrap some or engage something with striking scorpions, like lose a model, kill a few models, and then take an objective is really good. And then remain in combat, right? Potentially.
If it's like a big, like a Poxwalker squad or something, I think they might kill it. But if it's a big squad that's infiltrating, or like maybe you go second,
Hmm.
it's certainly useful to take back an objective if you put it on the
Right.
Striking Scorpions. But I
Right.
think it's more likely to be on the Howling Banshees.
Yeah, big time. I think so as well. All right, let's look at the next list here. We have Victor R from Spain. Let's take a look.
Another Avatar of Cain,
Now, wow, dude, 2 avatars.
this time an aspect.
Yeah, in Aspectos. I almost think like these guys are bringing the avatar just as like kind of like a nice showpiece. I wouldn't doubt it if they're painted immaculately, like the Avatar of Cain's, and their armies are just painted super well. Um,
Yeah, dude, I love my Avatar of Cain, but I never get to play it.
I know, dude,
Last
it's
time I
such
played
a
it
cool
was last
model.
WCW.
Yeah, Avatar of Cain is so cool. So we have Avatar of Cain, Fuegan, Janes are alike as Malgan Ra, Wave Serpent, Dark Reapers, Fire Dragons, Fire Prisms, dude, 3 Fire Prisms.
Yeah, the first time we've seen Fire Prisms.
Wow, is he bringing
Good
a
to see
list
that.
from last year? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it kinda does seem like an index list, not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it does with like Lycus in it, right? Like we have 3 Fire
Yeah.
Prisms, Howling Banshees, Rangers, 2 squads of those, 3 squads of Warp Spiders. Unbelievable, dude. I mean, I haven't seen a list with 3 Fire Prisms in a while. Uh that's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy to me. That's cool.
Yeah, I played
Yeah.
a, Eldar mirror matchup in my most recent team tournament against a guy that was playing 3 Fire Prisms. Well, I wasn't impressed with them, but to be fair, I mean, it was Guardian Battle Host and the Aspect Host, so it
Right,
was not
right.
really a great matchup, but, I man, if they were just cheaper, like, because they lost, like, the extra reroll, they're just not as good, but, he's not because he only has 5 Fire Dragons here, like, I kinda get it, because the Fire Prisms are almost the same amount of points as the Fire Dragons at this point, like a 30-point difference, and they're a lot tougher and a lot more range, so
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see this on GW layouts just because literally cross the board line of sight. I have a
yeah.
guy in our local shop who like kind of plays Eldar that plays a couple Fire Prisms, and it's literally just because of that. Because player place terrain or GW terrain, whichever that is just filled with firing lanes, and you could just fire 60 inches one side of the board to the other and not be retaliated against.
That's a
So
good point because when I played against, the guy running Fire Prisms, I always choose WTC terrain if I can. So I chose WTC terrain and yeah, they did not have good firing lanes.
yeah, it's literally just probably because he's used to GW or something like that. Because yeah, that's the only way fire prisms really work is on those. But honestly, I've played around with them on GW terrain, and I'm not really that impressed with them on GW either. But it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I
Interesting
agree,
list.
but hey man, each tone, nice
Yeah,
to see some diversity, definitely.
absolutely, 100%. I like that he's running them, and he probably has them really painted. Sometimes people get attached to what they have as their models and stuff, and they just want to run them. Like how many kills does that fire prism have? Probably like 100. Like you know that's
Yeah,
where
I
it's
mean,
at
that's why
sometimes.
I ran the Scorpion last time, so
Yeah, exactly, dude. Scorpion, man.
poor guy, I miss him.
Oh god, yeah, poor thing. All right, next we have Z Martin, Group 13, United
This is
States.
the Guardian Battle Host.
Guardian Battle Host, Guardians of the Galaxy list.
Yeah.
Azurman, classic Taken Guardian Battle Host, really good with rerolls to wound. We have an Autarch with the Ethereal Pathway allowing infiltration. Eldrad and Lycus. Storm
This is
Guardians.
a By
Wow.
the way, I want to mention this
Yeah.
list. I really like. It's completely different from how I play Guardian Battle Host, but it's still really cool.
Yeah, that's interesting because it does just have a lot of Storm Guardians, no Guardian Defenders at all. We have a Wave Serpent. We have big squad of Dire Avengers, which did get cheaper. Small squad of Fire Dragons, Howling
He only
Banshees.
has one Warlock Conclave as well. So
Oh,
these
interesting.
Storm Guardians are really just there for scoring, and I guess he's got the Eldrad one brick.
Mm-hmm.
So
Big time. Yeah, he has the Eldrad one brick, and that's it. He doesn't have a lot of smaller bricks, and just one squad of Warp Spiders with Lycus and 2 Warwalkers. Bright Lance and Star Cannon on these, so he's going a little bit more diverse with his anti-large as well, just so that he can make sure that he hits. I mean, double ones do happen, and if your opponent has stealth or something like that, I mean, you could probably still miss both Bright Lance shots, right?
yeah,
Or if it's not on an objective, sometimes a smart opponent will just say, "Oh, I know you get +1 hit on objective," and just move it slightly off the objective and say, "Hey, you don't get that +1 to hit anymore." So
yeah.
having
He
that
doesn't have Farseers, so he doesn't have the extra redundancy there to
yep,
not be able to worry about that.
100%, and he does have Shroud Runners for Norse cover, which I think you do need at least one squad in Guardian Battle
No,
Host.
yeah,
Like,
definitely, because you need to if you're trying to make the brick work, and also he has Dire Avengers. I think this is really centered around Dire Avengers, but like when you only have 1 AP on your guns and you're relying on these 1 AP units that I mean, obviously you use the Warwalkers, right, to make them AP too.
right,
But when you're relying on those to kill everything, and like say somebody has cover and then armor of contempt.
right,
If you use the Warwalkers and then you use the Shroud Runners, you're still getting the -1.
right.
But if you weren't going to do that and they had that combo, then you're not doing any damage. And that means that your big damage units, which are his one brick and his Sermon brick, then like you're kind of screwed. So
100%. Yeah. Really interesting list. I love it. 3 squads of Storm Guardians. That's all he needs. And, all the good stuff of having the Dire Avengers and stuff like that. Really like the 10 man of Zerman and friends. Honestly, I run the same thing in Sierra Council and it's really fun. So I'm glad he's running in this
does a
list.
ton of damage, man. Especially with the reroll wounds. Like, oh my god. I
Yep.
think one somebody like in Seer Council Discord was talking because he runs this a lot. Yeah, Lumain. He was like, yeah,
Mhm.
like that unit can kill a knight, like definitely. Like
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
see it. I see it.
Big time. Big time. Yeah. Rerolls wounds. You got a Zerman who has not only reroll wounds, but dev wounds on his feet turn. Could definitely see that. Okay. Last is Zach. And then of course we have your list afterward. So Zach Point, very good player in the United States. I've seen several of his
Yeah.
TTS games. Let's take a look. So, Aspect Host, we have Azurman, Fuegan, Janzar, Lycus. Common setup, but he does have the Ass Man, the Bloody Twins.
Yeah, he's got a 10-man
um,
Dire Avengers unit as well. So
yeah,
he's going all in on it.
yeah, absolutely. Storm Guardians, Corsair Void Reavers. He's got that big squad of Dire Avengers, big squad of Fire Dragons, small squad of Banshees, 2 squads of 5 Rangers, 3 squads of Swoops, 3 squads of Warp Spiders, and he does have 2 Wave Serpents for Assman and Fuegan. They'd be a good
Yeah,
couple in the
definitely.
40 universe.
Yeah, they would be. I agree.
Oh shit, man! You got
Blue and
the
red.
blue and red. You got the Ass Man and the Flame. So pretty good, pretty good list. I like this list a lot. Actually, it's something a little bit different, right? It has the same kind of flair as a lot of the other Aspect Host lists, but with the added bonus of having 2 big ass squads getting in and out of return. Now, I do think on certain layouts it's going to be hard to completely pull this off, like every turn and keep both Wave Serpents safe. But Wave Serpents can take a hit or two, like they
Yeah,
could
they definitely
take a
can.
hit or two for sure. So Really do like this list big time. What's interesting is also, weirdly enough, even though the Ass Man unit is mostly thought of as this heavy infantry killer, with Aspect Host, you have the potential of lethal hits for a stratagem. So you can
Yeah.
hop out, lethal hits, just put a bunch of chip damage on something. You can actually, kill something pretty decently big, like a 10 wound demon prince or something like that. You can really,
I
really
don't know if
chip
it's
down with
killing
it.
a knight, but it'll definitely kill some of those medium-sized targets.
Big time. Absolutely. Like I've had Assmen come out and kill a Mutalith with 10 Dire
Yeah,
Avengers. Right? You
totally
just
could.
you just throw lethal hits on it, you go to town. And it's just like brrr. It's like, all right, take 20 saves and also take 6 dev wounds, 6 feel no pains. And they're just like, what? What is that unit? Is that your fire dragons? No. It's my Dire Avengers.
It's my
And
anti-infantry squad.
then they think you're cheating after. They're like, no way. Yeah, but I mean, it can really do some damage. So that's cool. Good list from Zach Point. And then, of course, we have your list. So let me just find it
Yeah,
again real quick. Hayden
go to
Jones.
my list.
Let's see. All right, the reason I did the video was for you, Guard Dari, which kind of makes sense because it is very it's kind of like Guard Eldar
Yeah,
a little bit.
Imperial Guard Eldar is what I like
So
to think of it as.
let's have you talk through the list because it is your list. Just bring us through it, tell us what's in it and, what the strategy is behind it and all that. And yeah, take it
Yeah,
away.
so this list, I'm leaning on the Guardians all in. I kind of was thinking about taking a sermon in the 10-man squad, but that's a little expensive, and I would have to remove one of my precious Guardian bricks for it. So we're going all in on these Guardian bricks here. So if I have two Farseers, I have a Farseer and an Eldrad for each one of these bricks here, and then I've taken the max, the 3 enhancements. The Breath of All is just there because I had extra points, and it's not that bad to be able to reroll some of my damage on the melta guns. I've got the 3 warlocks here, and the big thing that I really like about warlocks is because down, if you see at the bottom of my list, I've got what's it called? A night spinner, right? So the strategy is because of the rushdown meta, you shoot something with a night spinner, and then -2 to move, and then if it tries to charge you, and I have the warlock in the unit, boom, -4 to charge. It's really funny. They can be right next to me and still have to roll a 5 to get into combat with me.
Yeah, that is pretty insane. And you do have 3 solo warlocks in the list, and you do have
But
3
they're
max
joining the
conclaves.
yeah, 3 max conclaves. So basically the Storm Guardian bricks. I have 1 Guardian Defender brick actually, and then I have 1 Naked Storm Guardians in this list. But basically the bricks, you got 1 Warlock, 1 Farseer, then the 4 Warlock conclaves, and then you got the Guardian unit there.
Hmm.
So it's a big unit. Like they're almost 300 points, or
Hmm.
actually they're a little more than 300 points. And so I've invested a lot in keeping them protected, and especially from melee. I mean, melee units, as soon as you give them like, sorry man, you have to subtract 4 from your roll, they're like, really? Like they go out into the center and they're like, okay, I'm gonna make this charge, and then they fail it, or like they might not even be able to go out into the center because maybe they don't have a lot of movement, and
Hmm.
then they don't go anywhere because like, are they gonna risk their unit like going out into the middle and getting absolutely obliterated just because they need to roll like an 11-inch charge on a like what is it? Like a 7? They need to roll a 12-inch charge
Right,
if they're 7 inches away from me. So,
right. Makes a lot of sense. And then you just have the most insane Overwatch as well with all of
yeah,
the
dude, the
flamers.
protector of the paths. So I have the protector of the paths on the Guardian's Defender warlock.
Hmm.
So or yeah, the Guardian Defenders. So they have really good Overwatch, hitting on 4s, and then you've got all of the shuriken catapult shooting, the bright lance, and then you've got the flamers
Hmm.
from the warlocks. It's really good Overwatch, and I tend to use it as much as I possibly can on that unit just because it's free.
Right, right. The only thing I will say, and I was a little surprised I didn't see this, was D cannons. And
Dude, they're like really expensive, bro.
really expensive. Yeah.
And
So
also,
you
like, I
you
would only be able to run one in the Guardian
right,
Defender squad.
right. You kind of have to get rid of warlock conclaves at that point to afford them. in this list. So it's more like this list is more like a death of a thousand cuts, with the fire dragons being able to kind of blow up whatever's necessary, right? So
Yeah, so anything that I can't take care of with these guardians, which is basically gonna be like if an enemy has like a big unit and they're not putting out on an objective, which makes sense, but sometimes they'll have to put them on objectives, like if they're playing knights or stuff, and then I can't get the rerolls to wound or like the +1 to wound, right?
right,
Then that's where the fire dragons come in, and you got two squads of them. Usually, I double up on them. Although when people are running indirect, they usually tend to take a lot of the hits, which I don't really mind because it's not like my Storm Guardian bricks can't kill big things.
right,
And they also have fusion guns in the three Storm Guardians, so a little bit of redundancy as far as fusion guns go. But yeah, they're there just in case there's some extra big things that I can't kill. And sometimes I end up not even having to use them because the opponent doesn't have a lot of big things.
right,
So they'll like maybe do actions or kill like Terminators or something.
right. Yeah, makes sense. And yeah, I mean, the Breath of All gives two fusion guns extra damage as well. So re-rolling damage
Yeah,
rolls.
potentially.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting. I really like this list. I think you really kind of doubled down on what's actually good about Guardian Battle Host, right? Like the night meta is kind of dying out anyway, so like things like D cannons not really that necessary, right? I mean, if
Yeah, it's
you
like, are you taking a D cannon or five fire dragons? I
right.
think I'd go with the fire dragons.
I mean, the fire dragons are more useful against more medium targets anyway, just because you're getting the full rerolls against everything versus where the D cannon is just really getting rerolls against big Titanic targets, and that's only the damage roll as well. Like it's not even like
Also,
all the rolls.
it's worth mentioning that in this list, I have a ton of turn one and like mid board play
Hmm.
because I have four scouting units and two infiltrating units.
Yeah,
Because the ethereal pathway lets me infiltrate two guardian squads,
that's right.
which makes a huge difference because of the probably the revive strat is pretty broken, but the being able to auto advance 6 inches, shoot and charge on a unit that I can infiltrate. I mean, I can go 15 inches with one of these guardian defenders turn one. If I deploy on the 9 inches away from them,
Hmm.
I can move them like 6 inches into their deployment zone and pretty much shoot whatever I want.
Right,
I mean, smart opponents won't let you do that, but not everybody understands that that can happen because it's like a lot of stuff that you have to kind of put together.
right.
And not everybody is actually ready for that type of damage. There's been many a game, like I deploy differently based on whether my opponent is going to try and like, watch out for that or not. If my opponent doesn't watch out for that, I'm just going balls deep. I'm running everything in there and I'm just going to kill like some of his important units right off the bat. If not, then I'll play a little more cagey. But I mean, I can jail so hard with this list because I've got so many units. I got the 40 Storm Guardians, and then the Warwalkers and Shroud Runners get to move really fast and scout.
Right.
I get a lot of board control with this. Typically, I don't put anything in reserves. Sometimes I put Fire Dragons in reserves because because of the uppy downy revive strat, you don't need to have your unit damaged to use that at all, which is another thing that opponents sometimes like. Obviously, I'm going to tell them, but like sometimes opponents don't think about it because it is a revive strat,
Hmm.
but it also doubles as a uppy downy strat. So like
Right.
it doesn't need to be damaged. Sometimes if I have a unit that I'm not putting out yet, and then I see, oh, my opponent, like some of the back line, he's moved it up. I played against a Grey Knights player in my recent GT, and he was, teleporting shit all around. And then I was like, okay, well, time for me to teleport. It's turn three now. I'm gonna be deploying in your back line. He was like, oh, I was like, yeah, not so cool when it happens to you now, huh? Teleport.
Classic Grey Knight players, man. Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like I think this
Uh,
has a lot of versatility. The biggest the only problem this is the problem that I have with the list, and you don't run into it all the time, but as far as shooting goes, there's not really a lot of units in the game that can kill a brick
right.
because they're going to be -1 to wound.
Yeah.
They're pretty tough, but in melee, I mean, you still get the -1 to wound in melee, but there are definitely units in melee that can kill it.
Mhm.
So especially the biggest problem is, and this does have like obviously, right, I have the -2 to charge, but like the 6-inch deep striking units, specifically, there are some Tyranids, and then Death Shroud,
Yeah.
which will totally just wipe the squad.
Yeah.
And at that point, when I'm playing, because I have two of the best players, and one of them I think is actually better. Like they're both like as good, if not better than me. That are both Death Card and Subterranean Assault Tyranid players.
Mhm.
So I run into this a lot, and when we play matches, sometimes we're like, yeah, I mean, this game is literally determined on if I make my charges, you lose. If I don't make my charges, you win. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Because if I don't make my charges, my units are out in the board, you kill them instantly. If I make my charges, I kill your units instantly, and then you don't have any units left. So you can kind of get around that by staging behind walls and stuff, and then you can make it like a 9 or farther, right?
Mhm.
But it's that is the biggest weakness of this list is the 6-inch deep striking because it really relies heavily on. Also, I think Grey Knights have a weighted 6-inch deep strike and charge, but it relies heavily on the fact that melee units cannot charge me because of all the modifiers against them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. So, like, even for example, subterranean assault list would not be guaranteed to make all their charges just because
yeah,
you have that
but I
minus
mean,
two.
they still do get the 6-inch rerollable charge, which is
Right.
ridiculous.
Right.
But then it'll still go to an 8-inch rerollable, which decent chance of making it. But if he fails, then that Gene Stealer squad or whatever is charging me is dead.
Yeah. And that makes a
And
lot of
it's
sense.
also
Yeah.
and why I'm specifically saying like Gene Stealers and stuff like that is because if you're charging my unit with like like a big monster that probably won't kill the whole squad, because there's a stratagem that I can just pistol all
Yep.
of my weapons, I'm just gonna shoot it and kill it in melee and not even bother falling back.
Right.
Which getting into melee with this army definitely makes it a lot worse because then I can't revive it. So the pistol thing and staying out of melee is probably the best way to put me, on the back seat. Um yeah, so that's why I have the night spinner and stuff so I can kind of get rid of the weaknesses of the army.
Yeah.
Because right, the warlock bricks are so big that if I lose a warlock brick like early without it really doing anything, then I'm just screwed. That's like a lot of my army that is just not doing anything. So sometimes if I can get like a lot of kills or a lot of value out of the warlock unit before it dies, or the guardian brick unit before it dies, then it's fine. But normally, like losing one warlock unit, two warlock units, bricks kind of suck. But I would also say that I had a few games, like late game, I only have like one unit left.
Hmm.
But like that unit is just so powerful that I can just stick it in the mid board. And since it's like turn 5 and the opponent doesn't really, because I always go for the units, I had to identify the units that can actually kill my units. So like good shooting with like a lot of shots or like good melee. I always try to take out those first and like, oh, he has anti tank. I'll just pretty much ignore that because like it's not going to do anything to the main parts of my unit or my army.
Right.
That is like when you get down to like turn 4 or 5 and you have that one guardian brick, you can kind of just string them out over two objectives and then your opponent can't really do too much about it.
Right. All they have left is anti tank stuff, and they're like, okay, well,
Yeah,
nothing
like
can be
I'm
done.
not going to kill it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I stick them. It's super useful. Uh the only thing is that, man, I wish you didn't have the enemy on an objective to get reroll of the wound. That would definitely make this a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's the trickiest part is like getting the rerolls to wound on. You don't really need the rerolls to wound because they're already strength 7 with the +1 to wound on Eldrad,
Mhm.
but it's definitely more useful, especially if you can like put +1 to wound on one unit, shoot it with your guardian unit, and then put rerolls to wound on another unit and shoot it with your other guardian unit. That's the ideal,
Right.
but doesn't always happen like that. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, these are going to be the best players in the world. So,
mhm.
you know,
Yeah, I don't expect to get like a lot of unless you're playing against knights or something, or you're like really baiting your opponent into getting on these objectives, like Norn emissaries and stuff, they need to be on objectives.
Mhm.
Although ideally you don't want them to be on objectives. Actually, funny story, in my last team tournament, I played against a guy and he went second. He deployed his Norn emissaries on the line. I just ran all of my guardians right up there and just killed them. I was like, you're not getting on objectives with this. I
Nice,
actually
dude.
had to charge them with melee, which interestingly enough, with the Warlock conclaves, you're throwing +1 to wound on something with Eldrad.
Yeah.
uh, they're actually not bad in melee because you're already getting the +1 to hit. If you're like tagging an objective or you use, I don't think the Farseer actually goes into melee, but if you're tagging an objective with like a Guardian unit and then you can attack with the Warlocks,
Mhm.
like if your opponent fails a save, it's 3 damage. Like,
Right.
sure, it's only sank 3, right?
Mhm.
But like if you're getting +1 to wound, wounding on 5s, if the opponent's on objective, I mean, if I'm really desperate, I'm not opposed to throwing rerolls to wound on there just so I can, maybe my opponent will fail one of their like 2 up, 3 up saves and then boom, 3 damage, it's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
The melee is not bad, especially if you're fighting into T3 armies. If you're fighting into T3 armies, the melee is actually pretty good.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Absolutely.
It's just a ton of attacks, and they're all strength 3, but like as long as I'm wounding on 4s and hitting on 2s, yeah, the melee is not bad. It's not anything to scoff at because you got the 3 damage in there and then the 2 power swords and then whatever the warlock or whatever the farseer and Eldrad has. A lot of attacks coming out of the singing spears. So
Right. I mean, even regular Storm Guardians have 2 attacks apiece, so you're getting a lot of
yeah,
volume, you know? So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can throw them into combat and just overpower the enemy unit. If you need to, like, grab an objective for some reason, you can easily do that, right? Throw them
I
in,
mean,
out OC.
back to the what talked about originally. You deploy them 9 inches away from your enemy's deployment zone. You move them 15 inches. You shoot something. You charge their home objective. Like you can literally do that if they don't screen you out. If they
Yeah,
don't have infiltrators, you can be on their home objective turn 1, depending on what you roll for a charge.
yeah, that's insane. Yeah, if they don't screen it properly and move block it properly, that's exactly what's going to happen, too. And they're basically going to
Yeah.
lose the game. Like, there's just
Yeah,
no way
literally
around it.
if you're not screening properly against this army, you lose. Is
Yeah.
which these guys are really good players. So I don't imagine that will happen very often, but because this is something that nobody really sees, they might underestimate it.
Yeah.
So this is just so unorthodox. That's a lot of a lot of wins come out of the fact that it's so unorthodox and it's so unmeta that like just a lot of people don't have the tools to kill it.
Right.
I mean, people
Actually,
in my metas started taking counters to it just because I've been playing this so often that they're
right.
like kind of done with like getting rushed down by Eldar.
Yeah. Big time. I mean, well, here's the thing. Here's the advantage that you have and that other guy who's playing Guardian Battle Host have in this specific tournament is that a lot of people are going to be prepping for Aspect Host War Host, right?
Mhm.
So you have the advantage of like actually not being that susceptible to indirect fire. Like you're like,
Yeah, indirect
okay,
fire is not scary.
like I'm -1 to wound and I'm Guardians. Like good luck, you know. Good luck killing this whole unit. You're probably not. And I'm just gonna revive. Waste your time. Go ahead. Like it's just not going to happen. So a lot of those things that are normally good against, Eldar, and just not going to
Eldar
be
are
good.
not.
Right.
Yeah,
100%, dude. Yeah, I really like
and
your
if
list.
they're wasting time shooting at my guardians and they're not going to kill it. If you're shooting a unit into guardian unit that is not like not going to fully kill the unit, then you're just wasting your shooting pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, you really have no good indirect fire targets in your entire army. I mean, maybe the fire dragons are the best, but
Yeah, the fire dragons are the ones that typically get the indirect fire when I play against people that run indirect fire.
yeah.
That's why I might put them in reserves, um, or just be like, yeah, whatever, depending on what the indirect fire is, because I mean, there's still 3 up saves, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, 3 up saves don't. I mean, the problem is the 1 wound. I've had times where my opponent's like, okay, take 5 saves. And I'm like, oh, this should be easy. 5 dead.
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
that's tough.
I'm like, damn, okay. my Exarch is left on one wound or some crap. But yeah, normally they're fine to it. Normally they're fine. That's really awesome, dude. Well, it's been great reviewing your list. I wish you the best of luck in the tournament. It's going to be really cool. Any closing or final thoughts?
Um, I don't know, man. I'm just really excited to play. I I can't play the 8th round this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't expect to get to like I'm not going to be in the finals. I would like. I mean, my group, I from what I've heard, is pretty strong. So I wonder how far I'll go in the group. Um, I can't play the 8th round because, I'm still a university student. I'm close to graduating, and I'm missing 1 day of class for this, and I can't really miss any more days of class. So
Right.
I gotta. My flight is because I got like a 16-hour flight, right? I gotta get back before class, so I can't play like last year, the full 8 rounds. But I'm really just excited to meet because I've just made friends with so many of the Eldar community since last time, where I had literally gone knowing nobody and just made friends with whoever I was playing against. So I'm really excited to see some people and make some connections and play some games against really good players because this is really what makes me a better player. I do hope to do a little bit better in my initial first 4 games, though. I only won 1 game, and then I had 1 close game last year, and then I think I won all of my games after groups, but, this year, I want to do better in the group stage, which is the more competitive. Once you get into the losers bracket, it's less competitive,
Right.
but, I wanna do better in groups, so hopefully, I can get, like, 2 wins in groups this time around, which is what I'd like to do. Maybe more. I think my list is a lot more competitive than it was last year. I liked my list last year as well, but it was a little memey. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, Eldar struggled in general at that time because people had it
yeah.
figured out. And it was one of those armies that was really like oppressive at like, your local game store. Like no one wanted to play against you because fate dice. But at the competitive level, it wasn't that big of a deal. People knew about fate dice. They knew, okay, they're only going to have so many sixes that they can use. They knew the ways around it, how to play around that stuff. So I
Yeah.
think this list that you have now is much stronger. And I also think that it's just off meta enough, like you were saying, to where even really good players won't have much practice into it, right? Like they may
Yeah.
know of it. And I mean, shoot, in the days coming to the tournament, I mean, they might practice it maybe once, but I mean, they're not going to have a whole lot of time to really wrap their heads around this type of list. So, yeah, it's awesome, dude. I wish you luck. And we'll have to do a recap when you come back from the tournament. We'll have to do a recap of the event and all that stuff. So,
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah,
man.
take
Yeah, I'm
some
leaving. I'm flying out in 10 hours. So
nice, nice, dude. Take some pictures, dude. Take some pictures of your stuff.
absolutely.
Like,
I'll send some pictures. I only took like 1 or 2 pictures last time. I need to take more pictures this time around.
yeah, that's awesome. It's hard to take pictures at events too. Like, that's the truth.
Hmm.
All right, man. Thank you, Hayden. Thank you for coming on the channel. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to your success. I love that you're bringing Guardian Battle Host. It's a really cool detachment. Needs more representation. And yeah, so thank you to all my viewers and Patreons. I really appreciate you, continuing to support the channel and watch. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I have a couple of videos, Dark Eldar / Eldar videos planned in the future. So stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much again, Hayden, and I'll see you later.